You are the...
All right, welcome everybody.
Series E Apex Legends.
All of World's Edge explodes into chaos. The G2 round the corner, taking what is rightfully theirs.
War with our Ashe player Musin followed, and it's going to quickly switch to Peacekeeper, putting down damage quick as
that Fury starts it off with the devotion and does so much work. May have single-handedly clutched it for Vizio, and with the last shotgun shot, does it?
Let's get the games underway, man. I'm ready to go. All right, welcome everybody to Series E. Tom, it's been such a long time. Glad to see you. How have you been, buddy?
I've been good, man. Excited to get this season 5 underway. I mean, we're already 3 days into the qualification process. We have the last day coming up. So basically, all the teams that feel like they have the chance, they're the teams fighting it out today.
That's absolutely correct. At this point, I mean, it's looking like Challenger Circuit with the amount of teams that we have right now and with the teams that we've seen so far. But let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. And so, like Tom said, this is the final and fourth day of qualifiers here for Series E. It's been a cumulative event. So, over the last 4 nights, our teams have been competing to try and score as much as possible. Tonight, we have 5 matches left. It's all going to be played on World's Edge, and we only have 3 spots available. Of course, the point distribution is going to work like ALGS standard. First place will get you 12 points all the way down to 15th, which will get you 15 in every match. And of course, every single kill you get along the way is going to matter. But now let's go ahead and talk about the teams that are competing in our final qualifiers. Well, actually, we don't have that graphic quite yet, so we'll go ahead and talk a little bit more about what's been going on. I mean, right now, it's the final day, Tom, and we know that a lot of pressure is going to be put on onto our squads here.
Why don't we talk about some of the teams that have played over the last couple days, because we can assume that the teams that have been doing really well are going to be here today, right? They're not going to just throw away all of their hard work over the last 3 days. Yesterday we had Gas Station Gaming, Void. That's a team to go and look out for. We have Redeem, Most Hated, Optimal Ambition. These are squads to look out for, and you can see this is the overall point total, Jamerson. What do you think about this leaderboard?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. I think Void being up there, along with Redeem, of course. But I think we're a little bit surprised by teams like Most Hated coming up and basically being put on that bubble and that third place spot. They are tied with Redeem right now, but you've also got Optimal Ambition and Gas Station Gaming. Both of these squads are squads that we are familiar with. We've seen throughout the Challenger Circuit. We've seen throughout the LCQ as well. And now they're trying to make their way into Series E.
It's wild to think that they picked up 61 points yesterday. Gas Station Gaming did, right? So the fact that they were able to get that much of their chunk of 96 is insane, because if they put up a performance like that, they may be able to take over that second or third spot, right? Because you're looking at a 20-point difference. Unfortunately, with only 5 games instead of 6, which we typically do, it's going to be, again, in a situation where every game matters just a little bit more. So they're going to have to throw down, and they're going to need to come back and have the type of performance that they have yesterday if they wanted to stand a chance today.
Yeah, it's really important to note that right now. I mean, if we take a look at teams that did fairly well yesterday, like you said, Gas Station Gaming, they got 61 points. Other teams, though, that didn't do as well, one of them that I'm looking at currently in the top 3 is Team Redeem. Redeem currently have a 31-point lead over Gas Station Gaming. But that was almost the difference between Gas Station Gaming's points last night and Redeem's points last night. So there is a world where Redeem don't find themselves in the top 3. They have to play these next 5 games so well. They got to make sure that they do not drop a single game. You got to make sure you get 5 to 10 points on the board every single opportunity.
Yeah, realistically, we're looking at 2 spots for teams 2 through 6, right? Because you don't really think Tap Strafers. Well, I do hope that Tap Strafers has a phenomenal day, and all these teams have a phenomenal day. You look at BP mathematically, and that's kind of where the buck stops. So you would say that if Redeem or Most Hated drop the ball today, there's opportunities for these teams in the 4th, 5th, and 6th seed, Optimal Ambition, Gas Station Gaming, and BP, to kind of make their way up there. So I think all eyes are on these teams to see who's going to be able to necessarily put their best foot forward and make their way into season 5, because there's a lot up for grabs, right? You're getting an opportunity to be contracted, you're getting an opportunity to practice with your team more, and we do have the teams up right now, and I'm guaranteeing that we're going to have those teams that were on that leaderboard poking out. But you get an opportunity, if you're unfamiliar with these team names now, to see the players that are on the squads.
Yeah, super important to see, of course. Void is going to be up there, Redeemed, another squad that we're looking out for, and Optimal Ambition, Gas Station Gaming, all of them. And I'm glad that we were able to fill up this lobby. I mean, we know that when it comes to these qualifiers, when it is cumulative, a lot of teams kind of see it as like, well, there's no shot for us here to make it in. But this is still really good practice. I mean, when practice is sparse amongst competitive Apex Legends, you need to be able to get every single rep in that you can. So I'm glad we've got these other teams filling it up. Now that's leaving a lot of questions on the board. Are we going to get contested? Because when you have so many new squads that maybe you're not familiar with and who might not be familiar with you as well, there is a huge opportunity for spoilers being played because of the 50-50s.
Well, not only that, it depends on how big of a gaming degenerate you are. You could not even be waking up right now. Some people are just going to bed right now, Jamerson. You know the deal, right? People are out there. They're all hopped up on Mountain Dew. One more game, and one more game lasts about 6 hours until about 10 a.m. So that could be the problem right now with some of these players. But hopefully they're coming through and getting ready to play. And hopefully there's no glare on their screen because it's during the daytime. Hopefully the vampires have covered up their windows and put the screens up so they don't get the sunshine coming through, because it's going to be grind time. 5 games to prove what you have to do in terms of getting into Series E, and we're starting these games off here very quickly as the players load in the lobby.
Yeah, I mean, I personally woke up about an hour and a half ago, but to my defense, I woke up. I immediately got on my bike. I got some good cardio in, so at least I make up for that in that regard. But yeah, right now, again, 3 spots on the line for the next season of Series Z. We can't stress enough how important an opportunity like this is, especially after the last 2 seasons of Series E that we've had. Seeing Team ESA moving on to Octa Gaming, having a great performance, albeit not winning the LAN, but having a great performance nonetheless at LAN. Seeing them grow, seeing teams like Vizio being popping off and having great performances of their own, and so many teams have gone on to be signed, and having this opportunity, having some pay coming in every single month is a huge boon to their careers.
I'm getting a call from MLG right now, and it's apparently Final Boss has been taken. There's a team called Final Boss in here. Soon we're going to see Carbon and Straight Rippin' popping up here. But Jamerson, popping on your VR headset and doing bicycle kicks in your chair doesn't count as riding the bike. I just wanted to let you know I'm just messing.
I am going to argue with you there. I don't know if you spent like maybe 10 minutes doing Beat Saber. That's your cardio for the week. It's absolutely insane.
That game looks lit. I'm not gonna lie.
It's good. It's actually pretty decent cardio, but you do have to figure out what the hell to do with your legs at that point.
Series E Beat Saber coming up.
Oh my goodness, that would actually be sick. I mean, we're still waiting for the days for like VR, more VR esports. And speaking of, I think that's pretty cool to talk about, because we do have a pro Apex player that was actually pro VR. And
what?
Guess who else it would be? Who would it be? None other than, of course, iShiny.
I was going to think it has to be someone on Complexity, right? I was going to go like Shiny, Monsoon. I mean, Monsoon's going to go on America's Got Talent for playing the guitar and singing soon, I guarantee it. So there's a lot going on that team. Someone's probably a chef. The other person, who knows what they do over there.
Well, yeah, Monsoon's the chef. But yeah, Shiny's done League of Legends, Overwatch, VR esports. Basically anything he can compete in, he has competed in. And he's done a fairly good job, I would say, across his career.
I mean, we have the Mario Kart challenges going in on over the Walmarts all over for the Esports Arena facilities. So there's a lot of different fun games to go out there and play. And now we got Apex Legends Mobile and people getting signed for that too. Is that even? I'm a boomer. Is that even out yet? Have you played it? Like, what's going on with Apex Legends Mobile?
It's out. My phone, I don't trust it enough to play an FPS. At this point, I mean, I still have like a Galaxy 8 or a Galaxy 9. I can't quite remember what I have. So it's a few models behind, and I just don't trust it for games at this point. Why would I when I have a decent PC? So, but sure. Yeah, I think what was it? TSM just signed Sunho. And so they're really picking up in the Asian markets. I think that's really always cool. I mean, we've already seen a huge, not a resurgence, but a huge popularity in the Japanese scene as well. So it's great to see that more of esports is getting globalized, and a lot more markets are kind of being put in the spotlight because of it.
I mean, it's just kind of weird when you go to the tournaments and you see live, people just sitting in their phone. I mean, I guarantee that's what like parents think about us when we're sitting in front of our monitors. Yeah. And I just see like people just like in their phones, like intense gaming, like super, super hard on the main stage. And it's just, you have like $5,000 PCs right there. And then you have like this like $20 phone, or a couple $100 phone. But I mean, hey, I think it's awesome. And the quality of the games are really, really surprising. Like the League of Legends mobile game is absolutely insane. I don't know if you got an opportunity to go and check that, but we're going off the beaten path right now as we fill time. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens with that, and of course, expanding the community any way possible, whether it's esports, gaming, whether it's the game you're actually playing or whatever. That's what it's all about. So I think it's super cool.
Yeah, no, Wild Rift is definitely amazing.
That's what it's called.
I remember seeing on Twitter as soon as Apex Legends Mobile launched, it's like, hey, how do we get those graphic quality settings on PC? Because I'm trying to push 240 FPS all the time and such, and you know, it's always the consummate like PC master race, you know, people that are just like, yeah, how do I make this just look like, you know, a blob of pixels and more than anything else? Like, how do I just make it anything unrecognizable just so I can have the best frames?
The big question is, how's the aim assist? You know, as a controller player on PC, I want to know how the aim assist is on mobile.
Yeah, can you have cross input here? Like,
Yeah,
how do I
right?
get MNK on the Switch or on mobile at this point? Yeah, it's always a great time, especially when more things are launched. I mean, it's great because again, Apex Legends has been a breakout game. I don't think anyone was expecting it to be as big as it has become in the last 3 years.
It's getting bigger too.
And it is, and it's, you know, propelled this huge esports scene, which is why we have something like Series E going on. This is the final day of qualifiers, and we are heading into game number 1 of 5. Again, all 5 games will be played on World's Edge. It looks like we might have some contention going on at Fragment East for game number 1.
Well, this is going to be fun. Also, big shout out to our sponsors, Vizio. If anyone from Tyson is watching this, send me some nuggets. I would love some nuggets.
Oh, yeah. We are joining on board with Void, though, who are our current leaders. Basically have a lock. As long as, you know, they just don't have a 0-point night, I don't think they have to really worry about anything at all. As they'll even be, of course, able to pick up the loot over here at Climatizer. And I think that's one of the big things that helps them out. I mean, Climatizer is just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, just look at what you get off the rip right there. And you're getting that flatline with the 3x, which is a great scope for the flatline. You're already getting a PK, you know, purple armor coming in for Blitz. This is great. This already great start coming through. Look, purple armor. You have to be feeling good if you're already in first spot, getting your POI not contested. When you're talking about dropping a goose, realistically, that's all you have to look out for. And who wants to contest the #1 team, first of all? Second of all, you know, if you lose that, there's going to be plenty of open spaces. No one's really been dropping Dome. Geyser sometimes is fairly free. Harvester was free 2 days ago. Skyhook is an opportunity to go over there. Trials typically is untouched in situations like this. So there's a lot of opportunities to avoid getting that goose egg, and if you did get 50-50'd, there's a handful of different opportunities to go and do different moves too. But here's Final Boss. Not the Final Boss that I know, but there is 3 teams over here in the Fragment side. You can see 1 team in Fragment East, 2 teams over towards the Fragment West, and no, that's not Spirits, that's Spirits E, because you can't be running the show and competing at the same time.
We're getting our first look at the ring as well. It's going down to the south side. Launch site tree is what we're looking at. Even the lava siphon pull over to the platform is one that could happen. But the teams now kind of have to hedge their bets. Where do they think this circle is going to end? Will they be able to play on edge? I mean, we know a team like Void are going to try and hunt the teams over at Survey Camp, and that's what they're making the move for right now. They're doing it quite regularly in our games yesterday, especially when you had these southern poles.
Well, because you can just sense weakness, right? Teams that land over towards Survey are typically scared teams because they're shaking in their boots. They don't know where to go. They don't want to contest. They're like, oh, Survey's open. And guess what? Survey has the worst loot, right? It's kind of like the train yard, but even worse for when there was train. So I think that they're doing the right move. You know, a team that does that all the time is Complexity, right? They land over towards the epicenter side. They own all this area. And you can see double purple going up against gray armor, plus their crafting right now. This is how you do it. And you do it really, really fast so they are unexpecting. And if you can get the team split up, you're going to be in a really, really great spot. So I love this aggressive play from Void. And you can see how confident they are already to start things off.
And they know that they were actually crafting armor in that one. So someone had to run back and end up picking up a white armor there. So they know they should have a decent advantage in the HP department here. Now, in the Macaroni building, they've already forced out the bubble. Arcstar in, doesn't quite connect for Borden, but he has the spray down with that flat line. Getting challenged now as they just peek out one by one. Farmer Lucas getting that first knock, finds a second as well. And Team Void will have an easy +3 coming in. That's going to be the Outlaw Comets getting knocked out first. Got another fight taking place, though. Looks like trades going down over here. Convoke Esports now trading for one more.
Yeah, they came in like Bruce Willis and Armageddon right there. I mean, that was... Is that what he is? Is Bruce Willis? I can't remember who it was. I ended up destroying the comment. But Convoke Esports is going down. The Max Soviet is the last one over here. And that's going to be Carlon with the Sentinel, too. So it's going to be CDE going down instead. Max Soviet with the R9 spray towards the back of Overlook. Really nice team fight right there. But can we just talk about Void and how clean their squad wipe was? I mean, perfect movement coming in from Borton. Basically playing that perfectly. I mean, the grenade into the flatline spray. He thought the last player was inside the Macaroni building like you were talking about. And then he just takes the PK out and hits for 90 over towards the side. And it's really important not to get knocked in that situation because you don't know if you're going to need to use your resources to try to get that back up. You don't know if the third party is going to come. So being able to just go in there full heal inside the building is super important to continue the ebb and flow of the game. But now we're back on board with Final Boss over towards the high ground, trying to find some arrow shots with the 3x with the bow check. And that's a nice little 60 to the body right there. However, this is a very vulnerable spot, especially when the zone is completely open like this. You do not want to be up here for too long.
And we know teams are still late rotating in, one of them being Void that were up there at Survey Camp. They can swing around this way. The fight over this beacon is going to be super important. You can see Final Boss trying to bully them away, and they might have just been able to do so. So eventually they'll be able to drop down, pick up that scan. It looks like they're going to be forced back at the very least, giving up that height for now. But they've done their job. They should be able to push forward. It looks like they're actually just going to go ahead and use this Valkyrie redeploy instead. Getting cut off there. You got to be careful. We saw so many Valkyries getting shot out of the skies yesterday. But it looks like our awesome Eric will be fine, will be safe. He'll be able to move past this bridge with little to no trouble.
I was going to butcher that name, so I'm so glad. I was going to call him like Awesome America. I was gonna like start throwing letters in there that aren't even in there. So now we know.
Awesome Ericova.
Right. Yeah, Awesome Ericova TV. Like, I had no idea. I thought this guy was just like super prideful, like go USA. I'm pretty sure I thought it was America. Not gonna lie, but that's my dyslexia kind of kicking in. But I like that play. I was surprised that Dax didn't go for a sell and they were just like gonna full send it over towards the side because without having shields, I mean, they were pretty vulnerable in that situation. I thought that was an opportunity to get lit up, but they got out of, you know, a very sticky situation, and now they're going to be able to move forward on their rotation. The problem is right now, there's going to be a lot of gatekeeping, right? There's a lot of squads alive right now. We didn't have many 50-50s. Typically, over the last couple of days, we've seen a faster pace than we're seeing in this game here.
Definitely. I mean, this is definitely already faster pace than we would see in Pro League or Challenger Circuit with 2 squads already gone before round 1 has finished closing. I'm surprised that more, but I think with so much on the line, a lot of our squads aren't trying to risk things for Team Void. They're taking their time. They've already got their KP. We said the name of the game for them is just to make sure they get any points every single game. They've already done that, and so you can go ahead and slow rotate through. They can go ahead and hug the ring and pick up more loot and just basically set themselves up for success for the late game now.
Yeah, I like the way that they're playing this one. I mean, there's constantly just getting these armors charged up, making sure that they're confident in their team fighting over towards the outskirts. We know that this ring isn't going to really do much damage, so they're in a great spot right now. And again, with Valkyrie and the redeploy, that Skyward Dive, you're going to be in a perfect situation. So getting the scan onto ring 3, making your redeploy forward. Some Counter-Strike crouch tactics coming in for Most Hated. Looks like they're trying to set up a ambush over here. I've been really impressed with MJ. I think MJ's movement on Horizon has been really spot on, so I'm looking forward to seeing more of this player in Series Z if they're able to make it.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was like stick drift for Mar right there as he was just slowly panning to the left at this point. It doesn't seem like the lurk play is going to quite work out. That squad ended up actually just running past them, but another squad is showing up through Thermal Station. I'm surprised. There's a lot of presence of teams here on the western edge trying to make their way in, possibly from Tree, but you can see this ring going square over launch site. You're going to want to get to what seems to be the south side of launch as that ring continues to pull down. The team that's actually on top of that beacon is set up in a really great spot. No one's even challenging them. We know that that southeast building of launch can usually hold 3 teams or 4 teams in and around that area.
It looks like Team Redeem, I believe that's Z Davis's team, is making their way to possibly contest over there. So that's something to look forward to. But this is a composition that we haven't really seen much. We got Newcastle being combined with Ashe and Valkyrie, so a lot of different outplays and maneuvers, rotations, etc., coming in for AOG. Should be fairly fun to see what they're going to be able to do with this, because we've seen so many different legends throughout all of the qualification process, right? We're seeing Bloodhounds, we're seeing Watsons, Wraith. We know Gibraltar's a really popular pick, but seeing Newcastle being kind of introduced into this season and being utilized a little bit more in pro play is going to be awesome, because the skill gap for new legends is always really, really high. So these are 3 fairly new legends that have been introduced over to Apex over time. I mean, obviously Ashe and Valkyrie not that new, but they're not one of the OG characters, so it's going to be pretty cool to see how this works out.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about Newcastle is that while he doesn't provide the same kind of utility that Gibraltar has, but having in your basically tank player at this point some mobility is extra nice. I mean, that was probably the biggest weakness of Gibraltar, was that he didn't have mobility. He was a big target, but he had a lot of defensive tools to keep him safe. And now you have Newcastle, who provides a shield that's not as strong as Gibraltar's, but it gives you the mobility. So all 3 players have that ability for an outplay if you know how to use his ultimate well.
Exactly, and I like this play from Most Hated. You could see that they were a little hesitant to full send over towards where the choke point was, because if there's a team waiting in there, they're already fairly weak. So they kind of took their time before turning the corner and kind of staggered a little bit so they can gather more and more information individually based on who was full health. So they just go under the staircase, which is a very popular spot to go and kind of reset, heal, and then make their way in towards the building, which is a priority building. So really smart play from them, really good rotation, well timed, as well as you see team arm assist. That's not aim assist, this is arm assist. They're flexing inside of the building over towards the tree side with Watson. Now this is a little bit of a passive play, a little bit too passive. You almost think that with the opportunity to go and rotate with Valkyrie that you'd want to go and push in, and this is an opportunity for a team to maybe sense the weakness in this squad and push in on them, because Watson's not going to be as good as fortifying these buildings as Gibraltar is, or as Caustic is, excuse me. And when you see these fences, there's not enough fences in there. So if they are going to play Watson, I would love to see a couple more fences to kind of push these teams off of them, because all it takes is maybe 1 or 2 shots over towards the fence, and they're going to be inside of that building immediately.
Yeah, this isn't the cat's cradle that we're used to seeing back in the day when everyone was running the Watson. This is kind of basic setup so far, and he can throw down, I believe, he should have 6 more of those nodes to put down if he needs to. On board with Regiment Elite currently, as they've already lost out on 1. Bubble's been used. It's going to be the fast cold bag res as well. Crimson is trying his best to survive, and he does at least get that bat off and will be able to back away. They're playing here on the eastern edge of launch site. They were able to clean up 1, it seems. We're down to 17 squads here, and they're still taking their time actually healing up. I'm surprised. There we go. Crimson finally hitting that med kit. You got to prioritize, you know, being able to stabilize first before you go for that loot. AOG, though, they are now getting contested, and wondering if it's redeemed. I don't know if I saw Watson on the other side of that wall, but like you mentioned, they were creeping up to try and take this position, and I think that is a Watson there.
It's really important to kind of take this head glitch over here. I mean, going over towards the door is risky, right? That door's going to get open immediately. Using this head glitch would be perfect, so I'd love to see... I have no idea what this player's name is. Jamerson, you're the name god over here. How do you pronounce this one?
I think I'm just going to go with Illy. That's always the hardest part. Whenever there's an X in a name, you're like, oh, okay. Is this, you know, is this like 1999 screen names, you know, XX Sephiroth 42069XX? Like, I don't know if those X's mean anything. It does seem like AOG were not able to capitalize on this knock that they were able to get. It wasn't redeemed on the other side of this one, and they are doing a great job of controlling. It did look like the ring ended up pulling away towards the north side of launch, unfortunately for AOG, but this is still a passive position they can play off of. They got the Valkyrie deploy, they have the phase breach, so a rotation through launch shouldn't be too difficult for them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now we're on board with the Bums, which is a hilarious team name. I didn't see this team when we were showcasing that in the graphics package earlier, but that's my vote for best team name so far. as I've loved the kind of aggressive play coming out from the Newcastle player here that we're going to call Illy. This is really great movement, great use of the shield, fast looting, aggressive play. Typically, you would think, okay, this is, willingly or maybe Brutta Zim's opportunity to play aggressive, but they're already locking certain things down. And as you mentioned, Jamerson, having a fortified, defensive legend like this that is able to get a movement buff, then that's a really, really strong opportunity to play aggressive. So I think that that's a really smart and confident play coming in to kind of push that team and flush that team out.
Yeah, that Newcastle ult is on such a super low cooldown, I believe 2 minutes as well. So you don't feel bad whatsoever about expending it. Oh boy, Phase 1 Esports are about to be in big trouble though, as we join on board with Gas Station Gaming. They're able to get a kill onto Real, and that's going to be Tap Strafers getting knocked out. But we have another squad to deal with, and they will be able to finish them off as the third party comes in. Rambo has gone down. The armor swap was there for ICR VR, but unfortunately, this defensive bombardment is not going to do much as the bubble goes down for this other squad. Now it's going to be Jet left to his lonesome, using that bracelet to get out of dodge. And Gas Station Gaming, unfortunately, were not able to stabilize as Mixers came in for the third party.
Yeah, really nice third party there from Mixers and a great defensive bombardment from Saucy. As you saw, Icy was going for the armor swap, but I like the presence of mind to bracelet out of there. I mean, you hope and wish that you could win that 3v1, but when you look at it, all three players completely healthy, so virtually impossible to go and take that one down. Final boss eliminated. They're going out in 14th place. You can see MJ and the most hated squad picking those kills up along the way too. So good job by them. And some player that's been popping off in the kill feed is What the Fuzz. I believe that's the second or third knock and flush coming in for What the Fuzz. So really nice plays coming in from them as we switch on board with most hated, as we mentioned, just finishing off final boss over here as they made their way over towards this choke point a little bit earlier and locked down the building, and now they are doing the gatekeeping that should have been done to them a little bit early. I mean, this was a priority spot that possibly should have been locked down with the timing, but they took that one almost immediately, and a nice little bubble to get their boy Marstreams back inside too. So great teamwork, great baiting and switching coming in from the most hated squad.
And it looked like there was no hesitation on these calls, that they were able to just kind of move smoothly throughout all of this. Mars covers him as he's retreating, and then he gets cracked himself. The bubble comes out instantly. Like, the communication is on point for them right now. This is the AOG squad now moving in from the south side. They should have plenty of utility to use to come up, but we're seeing a huge pileup. Maybe 3 teams now showing up on that southwest choke. Mixers being one of them. This was the squad that ended up finding that third party just beforehand. Now they're in some trouble. The Voids has gone down. They've lost out on one. Hoshi trying to chase down with his PK. Heading for the 29, and now going in for the next peak. Luckily for him, he did have the backup of Saucy, but Neg ends up getting that knock. We're down to a 1v1 here for Mixers. That's going to allow a free rotation in from AOG, who should just be able to walk across that bridge, and there it is. Mixers ends up getting eliminated. Give no respect, though, only down to Neg now. Might just be able to hide behind that corner. AOG, though, got themselves caught in a fight, and now it's just Brother Zim left for that squad. We're now down to 10 squads remaining, 2, maybe 3 rats running around here.
That was a very entertaining team fight, though. I mean, you could see the little rat race that was happening as all the players were kind of maneuvering around each other with the zone closing in. They understood the situation where, hey, we got to finish this one off, right? The zone is going to start closing in on us. That's going to tick away. It's zone number 4, so it's going to do a handful of health damage. And they ended that one perfectly. It's not one of those situations where it's 2 teams basically griefing each other and ending the fight in the zone where everyone's going to die. So very respectable when the teams are able to recognize that and understand the situation, that if you wait too long to fight, then both of you guys are going to end up going down. So they just said, all right, let's take this fight. Whoever wins has the opportunity to win this game going forward. 9 squads remaining. A lot of them are broken. We saw a handful of different rat teams, duos, etc., etc. In terms of positioning right now, you would like to see Convoke in this situation, right? They're on this high ground area. They're going to eventually have to bubble forward. So realistically, a lot of eyes on C-Fly, because not a lot of defensive bombardment, bombs are going to basically register with all the teams inside and over towards the building and having this type of cover. So if you do anything, you're probably going to have to defensive bombardment over towards the side and then lay down the bubble. Great thermites right there coming in onto Void, but they're still in a good position as they lock down a spot inside of the zone. So as long as their back's going to be clear, they're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, I mean, we know that there is a legend with the Ring of Fire, but that was the Triangle of Fire, the Thermites going down on top of Void. But luckily, they're able to avoid a lot of that right now. You can see, though, it's great utilization of this gravity lift, actually confusing Born a bit and forcing him to peek out and get basically revealed behind cover there, forcing out a bubble from Blitz.
No batteries.
This is pretty big, yeah, because doesn't have bats. He's slow healing throughout all of this. Now they're pretty vulnerable for the next 20 seconds without having that nice angle coming in from Seafly. He gets that knock and the instant call to drop down. They're going to full send it in with the bubble forward now. They've got the PK out. It's a 3v2, but the Arcstar onto Seafly. Hopefully he doesn't splash that across his team. There's the cleanup. Outlawed Abyss knocked. Convoke Esports, I believe this is their third team fight win now. They should have about 7, maybe 9 kill points to their name, and they find themselves in the top 5.
You know, this is wild because they have more points right now than they had yesterday. I'm looking at the scores, and they were in 17th place with 4 points yesterday, and you can see they've already picked that up just in kill points alone, let alone what the placement's going to be. And they have a couple of different options. I mean, the low ground didn't seem like that bad of a spot, but you know you could always go from high to low. It's a lot easier than going from low to high. So they could play this a handful of different ways. I'm curious to see what the opportunity is going to be, but I love the call to full send on that one. You don't know if that's a duo or a trio down there, but to be able to eliminate another team with so little teams left, plus pick up those 3 extra kill points is huge.
Yeah, I wasn't ready for a calculus lesson there. High D low, low D high. Convoke Esports, though, let's do the math. They've got 18 cells. Yeah, right. They do have no bats whatsoever. This is really... this is almost painful to watch, you know. Red armors, and you can only sell up.
You know what? Just go for that crafter, Jamerson. It's right there. No one will look at you. I mean, it's not like this is exactly where the zone's ending or anything, right? So a couple yeets of the barrels on over towards the door. Those are going to be shot down. You could bubble in this type of situation if you really wanted to craft, but your bubble is so important, and I don't think that's even worth it. So the opportunity to just heal with these cells is there. It's going to not really be good for your final team fight because you can't just bubble and then hit the battery in there. So you're going to have to do something a little bit interesting. But realistically, when you see the zone ending in the middle over here, it's all about your Gibraltar players, right? It's a team effort overall. But the timing of the bubble here, the timing of maybe the caustic gas. Oh, Bastola with the shots onto Shrills. That is not what you're looking for. Shrills getting a little bit away from the team right there. And now you're in a really tough spot. I mean, isn't that where he got ripped apart from? I'm not quite sure if Soviet wants to be here. I like what Seafly's doing. I think Seafly's got the right idea.
Oh boy, Void in some trouble though. They are also struggling in the heals department. You can see slow heals now. The cells coming out from Blitz trying to reset. The ring is to their back as well, but Soviet ends up getting a knock onto Bastola. So the team inside in a little bit of trouble here as Redeemed are able to push up. Z Davis has taken a lot of damage, but might be able to heal up. Bubbles have been forced almost from every team now. Farmer Lucas goes down to that PK shot. That's going to be Void eliminated. Redeem picking that one up. We're now down to our final 2 squads remaining, but we saw a lot of trades. Max Soviet below. It's going to be a 3v2 for Redeem. Now, they don't really have to chase after these kills because the win will eventually come their way. That's going to be Redeem taking match number 1 of the day.
Did that Valkyrie just go into the zone and say, screw it, I'm just going to end it all? I mean, that was a really interesting way to end this game. Really nice job from Redeem. I mean, and Redeem's a team that you have to watch out for, right? Because these are squads and players that we've seen in the past. I mean, Z Davis has been popping up in the ALGS and Series E for quite some time. We know what Joey Blackout's going to be capable of, but a great game number 1. I mean, very slow-paced game. You could see how important it is on the final day of the qualifiers for these teams to pick up their points.
Yeah, and again, talk about the teams that we saw there at the end. Redeem, Void, both teams not having the greatest start yesterday. Void definitely did end up pretty well. Redeem was kind of middle of the pack throughout the day, continually putting on points at the very least, but getting that win is absolutely massive for their chances of making sure that they secure a spot in the top 3. We've got 4 matches left to go here in the qualifiers. We're going to take our first break. When we get back, we'll have game number 2 shortly after this.
Versus coming daily under pressure. Working on the plot and the scheme, the true style trademark is at the edge of your dreams. I'm talking, yeah. One shot, now the future is yours. I'm turning dreams into reality. In the lab with the formula and chemistry. Your memories spark and motivate and make the industry shake. Set the bars to the breaks. I'm talking one chance. I was so good for the code. It's one shot. Now the future is yours. Go.
I'm fading.
One bad headache can crash your entire game.
Excedrin relieves headaches fast.
Excedrin, game over for headaches.
Some noise.
we had a great showing in game number 1 coming out from some of our heavy hitters in this lobby right now, our favorites to try and make top 3, particularly Void and Redeemed, finding their way up there. But throughout the game, you know, other squads like Optimal Ambition, Gas Station Gaming, they had their moments as well, making sure that they're trying their best to, of course, keep up to the momentum and keep up with the pace that's being set right now by those two squads.
Yeah, they're going to have to step it up. I mean, they're playing really, really well, but with only 4 games remaining, there has to be some dubs on the board, maybe even 2 wins out of these next 4 games when you're looking at being down. I think it was 20 points when we all got everything sorted out on the leaderboard before we started today. So I think that, again, when you're looking at what a big game is, one big game is 30 points. So if you can get one big win with a handful of kill points, you're going to be right back in there and you could qualify. And we're looking at, you know, again, the opportunity, if you haven't been familiar with Series Z, you're going to get contracted to one of these partner teams as we take a look at the Mobile One High Performance Moment. And there's awesome new partners that are on board, right? You can be sponsored by, you know, Tyson, for example. You have Excedrin in there. There's a handful of great partners, but you're also getting great practice and an opportunity to stick it with your squad to try to improve as a full 3-man team, as you see a great play coming in with the spray from Seafly. Unfortunately, we did see Shrills go down a little bit early, and if so, Convo could have had an opportunity to win this game.
Yeah, a lot of this just kind of came down to a lack of economy. I mean, you can see there that Seafly only had that last bat remaining, and the team below, they were only able to pick up cells afterwards. So if they ended up, you know, trading away any damage, there was no quick time to reset. They had to slow heal with the cells, even though I believe they were getting some decent damage off on the team. I believe it was Most Hated that was playing inside of the building. There was no real follow-up because they had to take their time and slow heal throughout all of this. So it was very unfortunate that we saw a lot of our squads actually struggling in the heals department in the basically late game portion of game number 1.
That was a great stick by the enemy Valkyrie, and thank God for the nerfs to the Arcstar. Otherwise, Seafly could have ended up going down and taking some of his teammates down with him too. But the bubble placement with the spray was perfect, right? He places the bubble directly on the edge of where the down teammate is. So if they end up going for that res, they have to immediately stop the res. If they need to get a flush and go for an armor swap on the player on the ground too, the bubble's in a perfect situation for that. So a lot of great plays coming in from Convoke, but really it starts with Seafly taking this angle. Great use of the 2-4X with the purple mag on the R301, and that team had no idea what hit them as they were just, sitting down there. And I'm not quite sure where everyone was looking, because at a certain point you have to realize where your angles are going to kind of be taken from. And yes, there's a handful of different spots that you could be shot from, but I think it all happened so fast for the enemy team they had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, let's check in with the overall or with the leaderboard after game number 1 to see how many points Redeem were actually able to get. And it was an 8-kill game for them overall, but the plus 12 will help out Redeem. Of course, one of those squads right now on the bubble that want to maintain the top 3 position. Team Void, though, they're already comfortably in the top. They get another plus 10. And they already had a pretty large discrepancy between first and second place. So I think at this point they have essentially secured their spot in Series E.
Yeah, and they really almost had it before this thing started too, because realistically, like you were saying, they just needed a goose egg. So being able to get that 10 points mathematically is going to give them a huge boost. And if they continue to get 10 points, we're looking at 50 points overall when the winning team yesterday was at 61. So they're already on a great pace and a kind of winning pace. And at this point, I'm excited to see which partner they're going to be partnered with and how they're going to do going forward, because anytime a team comes through the qualification process and gets first place, they're serious. That they've been taking it, in terms of practice, very serious. That they're a tight-knit group. And then at the same time, there's an opportunity for them to slide in there and stay in Series E going forward. And I think that's the big goal for all of these teams.
Yeah, I mean, we had the Intel buff coming in for what ultimately became ESA and then Optic Gaming. We knew there was something special about that squad. I mean, you and I both said, there's something crazy about this Verhulst player, and he was playing during the Bloodhound meta. That was when our first introduction to Verhulst throughout the qualifiers, when he was fragging out in the Bloodhound meta, and then the Valkyrie meta came around, and he showed that once you get some extra mobility on him, he can absolutely frag out. And I'm glad that we get this opportunity to highlight new and up and coming players, because this is still Apex Legends. Even though this is what, 3.5 years into the game, there's still a lot of talent to be discovered.
And I think that's a great point, because as we get more legends kind of coming out, et cetera, think about what we were at when the meta first started for competitive Apex. We were looking at one person had to be stuck on Wattson, there was a Wraith, and there was a Pathfinder. And that was it. You were stuck and filled into those 3 categories. And a lot of times, I mean, the Wraith players were stuck on Wraith. They're like, there's no way I'm going to go play Wattson. So if you were stuck on Wattson, it almost made you feel like you were the weaker player on your team. And it's unfortunate that that had to be the case, because there just wasn't many opportunities to make out plays. You couldn't really find out what your play style was. You were just said, okay, I'm stuck on this specific legend. Now you have so many different legends that you could play. You could try so many different things. You could play Horizon. You could play Valkyrie. Heck, you could still play Bloodhound. Gibraltar is really popular. Caustic. There's so many different legends. Ash. Bangalore is still popular too, and more popular than ever in terms of competitive play. So I love where we're at. Heck, even Watson's making a resurgence too. So a lot of different opportunities to showcase what you're able to do. That's just going to allow the game to be so much more fun, because you're not being filtered into one legend that you may not even be vibing with.
This is an awkward, slow fight for CDE, as they were looking to fight over this building right now. We do have Nyx on that Bloodhound, so they're looking for these fights. They are just not looking to play for position. It is all about trying to find these fights on the edges, but this isn't a really slow one. They know that it's a Loba team on the other side of this one, so you have to kind of expect maybe possibly better armors. At the very least, much better attachments on their guns.
Or
but
ammo?
Is
there any ammo?
That's really unfortunate. Yeah, he finds a purple mag, no ammo for it. It's team contested on the other side of this one. Butters almost goes down, and now he will fall. It's going to be a 3v2. They should be pushing in for the killing blow.
Let's see what Floop's going to be able to do. He sends it into the bubble a little bit too hard, but Added is there. There goes another knock onto Nick. It's the PK. Added with the Havoc, looking for some spray, but he's not able to find it. Has to reload the flatline, has to reload the Havoc too. Ends up electing to go for a cell, and this is where the mind games kind of come in. You know that the res is coming through. It's most likely a fake res to try to push Added out. Added now using the window to go and see what this Wraith player is doing. Stops perfectly and then goes with the whoop, swoop, and pull. I love this play coming in from Added, but he forgot one of the most important things. That's to reload his weapon, so now he's looking for the thirst. I don't know if he's going to be able to get this player that's going into the arm shield. Great use of the arm shield there from Carlon, who was rocking Gibraltar a couple days ago. Now on that Wraith. That was a fight that Carlon should not have won, but the use of the shields, I mean, talk about OP. Carlon just using those to perfection.
Yeah, just different moments of brilliance coming out from either side. I definitely thought Carlin was going to lose that one. Unfortunately, the disengage to try and go for the slow heals there, a little bit punished. Outlawed Abyss, though, find themselves in a fight down here by staging, and doesn't seem like it's much of one at this point. They've already lost out on 2. They're getting thirsted, and he's getting hunted down. That's going to be Outlawed Abyss gone. Phase 1 Esports ends up picking the team fight win there. Also have control over these crafters, which they immediately move on over to. Pick up the bats that were sorely missing in game number 1 for all of our squads.
When he hopped on that crafter so fast, I thought it was like an angry forum kid or someone that was like mad on Reddit on the Apex Legends
someone getting ready to roast
like
hell on Reddit.
Yeah, it definitely was someone immediately ready with a fake gamer tag or a fake username, excuse me, on Reddit, ready to throw some serious roasting material down. But AOG now in a little bit of a different situation, a little difficult situation that you wouldn't want to be in. They do get final boss out of there, but that was a little scary. You could see a lot of people over towards the door getting really weak too, potential third parties coming in, but in the back of Geyser, it's not really a popular spot to see any type of fighting unless the zones are going to pull over here. I miss Geyser zones. I would love to see Geyser be utilized a little bit more. It's kind of fallen out of style. Teams don't really land there anymore. Haven't seen many zones pulling back on over there. I would love in the next couple games if we can get a back Geyser zone.
Oh, Rambo isn't going to be able to see Geyser anytime soon. He has gotten knocked over here at Survey Camp. Gas Station Gaming going for that similar thing where they rotate out to Survey Camp and try to take advantage of the squad that was, playing a little bit slower here. This time around, though, give no respect. They were ready for it, but they did chunk away at their HP bars, and so the reset comes out for Give No Respect. And unfortunately, Fragout has to slow heal with syringes. That means the other side, Gas Station Gaming, have all the time in the world to reset themselves. So we are now equalized once more. But you have to imagine, coming out from Climatizer, they should have a lot better heals. They should have the bats to work with.
I'm going to stop calling them syringes and start calling them cringes. Because if you don't have a med kit, it is super cringe, man. The slow healing, and nothing is worse than that, especially when you have a Loba on your team. So hopefully they can find something. Flatline Mozambique here for Icy. We'll see what he's going to be able to do. But having this type of, setup inside of the building, this is typically an area where you're going to see, Caustic shine. But it's up to Icy if he wants to do anything, right? If Icy wants to go and push, it's going to have to be a bubble push directly out over towards the door. While he's checking this door, though, someone else needs to be running around and looking to see if there's a third party. Otherwise, this fight is not worth taking.
Yeah, and the ring is pulling up here towards the north side of the map, and so you have to expect teams are starting to show up, but you have a lot of fights taking place on the edges right now. I mean, we are already down to 16 squads. It's Mixers charging forward. Oshi really utilizing that gravity lift well. They're slowly pinching this squad, forcing out a bubble. Angle here from Avoids, just chipping away at them, keeping them at bay. Hoshi does have that gold armor, so he'll be able to heal up real quick now. Should have another gravity lift coming up soon. He'll be able to retake height up against this squad. Mixer's gonna go for that full send. It looks like no, it's just Hoshi on his own, keeping tabs of that team currently. As this one's taking some time, but they are on the edges here, so the worries of third parties not as big.
Exactly, and again, still early into the game, so nothing too worrisome. But that team does Valkyrie Skyward Dive on out of there. I think that's the right play. Great shots there from Saucy trying to lead that one. I don't think they're going to be able to get any type of knocks unless someone else is laying down some serious damage. But the job's done. They got a free rotation now. Yes, they didn't get the kills along the way as they were hoping for, but still at least bullying a team out of your position so you can go and reset and decide what the next play is going to be is fairly big as we see what CDE is doing. Now, we were talking about this area not getting a lot of action. Well, I think they heard me, Jamerson, and now they're starting to push on over here. The fortunate thing for Nick is he's got that scan coming up in about 10 seconds. Yes, Beast of the Hunt has been used, and that's probably why that team is currently running right now. But this is an opportunity to go and push, and the bubble is already down, and teams are falling left and right to CDE over towards the back of Geyser. You're like, all right, you guys want to push us. We are pushing you. Really nice job, and Carlon continues to impress. Again, another squad, though. The third and fourth parties are coming in.
Yeah, and I mean, we knew in game number one as soon as we saw this Bloodhound that this was their game plan. They were going to play Edge, and they were going to try and find the fights, and they've already done so. They got the one team fight win over at Fragment East on that 50-50. Now they took that one over at Geyser. Looks like a third one is coming their way, so possibly 9 points early on for them. They've also already secured one kill point. We're down to 15 squads here as Phase 1 Esports find a fight on the edge their own. This time, though, it's on the western side of the map over here by staging. That squad is going to take the skies, and oh no, triggered me. Gets taken out of the skies, and it looks like, yeah, the Valk nerfs, man. It's not as safe anymore, and teams are learning the absolute hard way. You cannot just freely Valk ult anymore.
I mean, that's a nominee for the Mobile and High Performance of game number 2. That's definitely the best clip we've seen so far. Papa Midget with the huge spray there with the R301, 3X, Purple Mag, even using that Horizon Q, the Grav Lift, to get back on over to safety. Great map movement coming in from Papa Midget. Even better tracking, though. And I don't think I've ever seen a full team get wiped out in the air totally, but that would have been hilarious because they got 2 out of 3. It was like they were playing Duck Hunt right there. Jamerson just shooting fish in a barrel. You love to see that from Phase 1, and I think this is great presence of mind too, avoiding the zone. Zone number 2 is moving. They know that they need to hit meds along the way, so going over here and possibly utilizing a Skyward Dive for Moonshine is by far the best play they can do.
Yeah, and at this point, a lot of the south side should have been cleared out. We know CDE dealt with a team on the eastern edge. We knew a third party was coming over there, so we're looking at, just 3 squads running in from the south side right now. Most of the teams have probably made their way in and around that survey camp area as Papa Midget is going to go ahead and take this height for a squad, make sure no one else is around. Ooh, they do spot out one squad using that Skyward Dive, getting past them, so they might have to use the Skyward Dive because trying to leg it at that point across the multiple choke points is really not an option. So yeah, Phase 1 Esports will use that, make their way into Fragment West.
You know, if Phase 1 Esports made it into Series E, they would be with Team Tyson. You know why, Jamerson?
Why?
Because they just air fried that squad. Let's go.
Oh, man. Okay, all right. I had my moments in Game 1. I'll give these to you in Game number 2. Yeah, they did at least, you know, they played chicken there, and they got past that choke point at the very least, avoiding the fight, and got over here at Fragment West, and they're gonna be safe to at least kind of hover here for a while. They just used their Skyward dive, but it's on a pretty low cooldown, so they can just exist here if they need to use it again. That ring will continue to pull away, but oh, looks like Papa Midget wants to get a little aggressive here. He's gonna go ahead and charge forward on that horizon.
I like the plays. I mean, getting aggressive on a team towards the edge of the zone means less likely opportunity to go and get a third party. Plus, you know that they have to hit meds. So now he's looking for the corner angle, and is able to find that. But no, the fried get fried even harder there. That is absolutely insane. Fortunately, it is just a solo, but a little bit of salt in the wounds right there for Papa Midget. Yeah. He had first shot, and then all of a sudden, he turned around and started running for his life.
He had first shot for like a good minute. Let's be completely honest.
He really did.
Point. So he's going to be questioning some of that going on. But, you know, luckily, like you said, his teammates were there. It was just a solo on board with Armistice, who are playing the northern side of the zone currently. While a lot of Survey Camp is in, we know that these rings like to pull away into these rocks on the north and northeast portions of this zone. So I like Armistice's position. They've got the back, they've got the ring to their back, and we're actually hearing a fight inside of the tunnel right now. It's Mixers who've lost out on Hoshi. Not even going to be able to recover that banner. They're in full retreat mode here.
Tough situation. I mean, realistically, the best legends for grabbing the banner, we already know. Crypto, we don't see any Cryptos here in this lobby. Wraith, because you can go and queue out. Pathfinder's not really popular right now in the current meta, so, you know, giving that up and saying, hey, there's already 3 players in the vicinity, we can't really do anything about that, is a tough pill to swallow, but it's definitely the right move, as we have 13 squads remaining, and a lot of them are full squads, so another very kind of slow, methodical game, I guess you would say, especially compared over the last couple of days where we've seen some very fast-paced games, but still the fights are taking place at the right time. I think everybody's playing this as they should. It's definitely a high-stakes day today if you're just joining us. This is the last day of the qualifiers, so there's virtually, you know, 6-7 teams that have an opportunity to get 3 spots, and one of them is kind of already secured by Team Void, so it's a big race for that second and third spot.
CDE, feeling the pressure. They know that every single game has to be a big pop-off game for them as well, as they're not really in the top 4, top 5 right now, and so they have defaulted to this composition, which wants to fight on the edges, wants to be able to just take the full 3v3, but the Beast Hunt's already been used, and there's another opportunity that has gone away from them. We've only found 2 team fights so far. The 3rd one got away, the 4th one got away as well, but they should have another opportunity here with round 3 closing up. A lot of the map has been opened up. It's 12 squads remaining, so when we're talking about the pacing of game number 1, it's definitely been accelerated here in game number 2.
And it could be based on the zone. There's a handful of different reasons why that's necessarily happening. We saw some pretty unorthodox rotations from zone number 1, or excuse me, game number 1 for the west side, the northwest side, as you previously mentioned, which, you know, kind of slowed things down, especially when a team like Void isn't able to find a majority of where those teams are going to be. But I love this play. Great defensive environment from El Marksman. This should get a lot of ticks behind the team on the rock.
They're trying to get out of there, but they are being pinned down by this charge rifle. Marksman will go ahead and back away, though. Unfortunately, he's getting tagged up from behind. Using the slow heals now with that Watson generator. Fortunately, they don't get much off of it, but they do at least make progress towards the red Evos.
I mean, he used a battery just for one thing that he could use a cell for. There's 25 shields remaining, and he goes with the battery instead. A little bit of a misplay right there. We know how important batteries get over towards the tail end of it. We'll see if that ends up coming back to bite them. Redeem winners from game number 1. See what they have in store for us for game number 2. See, Davis taking a lot of damage. That's going to be a great black hole, but the nades follow up, and it's a tough situation now. That's a 2-on-3. Great defensive bombardment coming down. Great bubble play from Joey Blackout. That should be buy time for Z Davis to go and hit the heels, but not enough time for meds. So Z Davis is going to have to just do this crazy play. I don't agree with this at all. If that works, I am absolutely done for here. But it looks like they are holding it down with the shots, and that should be all she wrote for Redeem here very shortly. That's 2 players knocked down. There goes the third one. And a tough situation, right? You want to go and take that fight on the team directly in front of you. Z Davis goes, hits the grab lift, but once he goes and hits that grab lift, all eyes were necessarily on him. Take the shot. Don't wait for him to fall, Papa Midget. He was standing still in the air.
Yeah, now CDE with another team fight win under their belt. That's 9 kill points, I believe, that they've got. Unless one of them got stolen away from them, Phase 1 Esports might be their next targets, but the ring is closing in. So you have to start prioritizing the rotate, which is what Phase 1 Esports are going for. They use that skyward dive, and it looks like they got the pings down, and that crane is actually in for them. And that's going to be a really nice position because a lot of the angles that are available to peek that crane will be negated by this zone.
This is definitely a team to watch. Optimal Ambition has an opportunity to sneak their way or earn their way a spot into Series Z. Is Moonshine with the uppercut right there. Hadouken onto avoids as Team Mixers is eliminated. Bubble goes down for the accelerated healing. They still have the defensive bombardment if you want to use it, which could be a great time. I mean, your team needs the heal right now. You have to rotate here eventually. Twitchy has to heal as well, but without the bubble, you're in a little bit of a weird spot. So he's just going to go and take some cover behind the rock, go and hit the battery. I would love to see a defensive bombardment come down when they absolutely need it. So smart trigger discipline there from Twitchy, understanding the situation. Doesn't need to really throw that one out quite yet, but if he needs it, this would be the opportunity to go with a minute left, as now Nades is picking up kills and CDE goes out in that kill feed in 7th place. But look at the way that Icy, Rambo, and Jet just have to deal with Papa Midget and squad, and once they do, they're going to own all of this real estate on their side of the zone.
And of course, it's going to be the Loba team that has the Kraber in play. Icy, he's the one that's got it for the Gibraltar, but he's been cracked, forcing out his bubble early on, dealing with a team on the rocks as well. Rambo didn't get the message, though. He's going to go in, try and get the repeat at the very least. Doesn't actually get it there. Bubble down. Twitchy has fallen. Papa Midget trades back for one. The rest of Gas Station Gaming have shown up. Looks like Redeem might be in a fight of their own. Excuse me. Void might be in a fight of their own. Currently, Papa Midget has taken out 2. Now, Gas Station Gaming are only left with Jet remaining. It's a final 4 squads here. Unfortunately, Jet will be forced to play this one out by himself. Void smell weakness in the teams around them currently, but they have to be careful. Optimal Ambition are still up as a full 3, but they do at least come in to steal all of this loot.
It's really important to go and hit that third party there. The timing from Void was so strong. Burton, 1,000 damage. Doesn't have any kills, but you can see the 6 big assists coming through. Great game from Void, our team that is currently in the accumulative leaderboard, sitting at #1 after 3 days of qualifying. This is the final day. We have game 2 of 5. You can see it in the bottom right. They're trying to fight for these 3 final spots to get partnered and go into Season 5 for Series E. This is one of the squads trying to make their way in there. Optimal Ambition inside of the zone, on top of the roof, with Caustic here. The Caustic value just continues to rise with how small the zone gets.
And it was a 5-point game #1 for Optimal Ambition already. They've been quite present on the kill feed, so this one's going to be decent. 3 kills for Nades, but I believe they should have a few more, and they're about to pick up 1 more here, hunting down this last player. It was Jet going down to Borden. Unfortunately, that kill getting away from them. It's going to be Void picking that one up. Optimal Ambition. We've got Void as well, and 1 other squad inside of that building. And that's kind of surprising because, remember, that was one of the first fights that we had. Gas Station Gaming versus Neg and the crew over by Survey Camp, and that might be the final fight of the game as well.
And a lot of times, the team on this high ground rock is the team that's in a great position, right? Because everybody that's coexisting is eventually going to have to fight. The main thing is just not getting ripped apart with the damage, and that's why you're seeing some kind of passive angles being taken by Blitz and by Borton. They know if they get 3-2-1 and if they get knocked, all teams are going to full send. You may get some defensive bombardments, etc., etc. You're going to have to use your bubble. That's not going to be fun. So playing it passive on over towards that rock is going to be a great spot, because you know eventually these two teams, as they run out and coexist on top of the building, they're going to have to make a move, right? Eventually you have to get off of that rock and you will have to move forward, but fortunately all the action is going to be directly in front of you.
Look at Lucas's position. He was actually underneath that building. He's going to go ahead and rejoin his squad, though. I have been a little bit worried about a concerted three-man drop down on top of him. So we're going to play this one a little bit more conservatively, back away. Void, though, have given up at least one position up top on the rock. Blitz forcing to bubble early on, and this is crucial. Remember, that's on a fairly large cooldown. He's going to use a defensive bombardment of his own.
He has gold helmet, though.
Forcing that out from the either side. Yeah, the gold helmet will help to get the bubble back up. Shouldn't see another ult unless they have the ultimate excels, but it doesn't seem like they have one. None popping currently. They're just biding time, waiting for optimal ambition and give no respect to engage in a fight first.
And fortunately, with this gold helmet, it's going to come back directly when they needed Jamerson. That zone is moving in, and as soon as it moves in towards his back, boom, bubble is going to be back up. Nades with a very aggressive angle from optimal position ambition, but now you can see what the strategy is for Void. They're just buying their time, waiting for these two teams inside of the building to fight it out. Great use of the missile barrage coming through, and now Void is getting pressured on over towards the side. You can see Farmer Lucas, he needs to heal. Blitz is hitting a battery inside. It's going to be a straight on 2-on-2 here for these final moments to see who's going to be walking away with game number 2.
They're going to charge forward into the gas. Big damage coming out from the PK, and Void will be able to secure the win here. Now, we said after game number 1, that was basically over. There was no shot they were not going to make it. Now with this win, it is absolutely cemented. Void will be in Series E for next season.
And the question now, if you're Void, how mean are you? Are you going to gatekeep other teams? Do you want to go and land in other spots? Do you have beef with anybody? All right, or are you just chicken? Are you trying to Tyson out of here, or are you trying to just lay it down and say, you know what, we're going to gatekeep all of you guys and just start landing at random spots? I don't think that's the case. They're going to continue to try to get a pace that's going to feel good for their team, and it's all about practice here in Series E. Everybody wants to go and play the exact way that they would be playing if it was for a couple $1 million. So that's the best thing about it, and congratulations to Void, because they are looking like a serious contender for all these other teams, and I'm going to congratulate them already on making it into Series E. Great job through the qualification process, and you can see exactly why they were sitting in that number 1 spot.
Yeah, and with the win like that, we've only got 3 games to go and 2 spots remaining in Series E. Who's going to gobble that one up? We're going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we'll have game number 3, our final day of qualifiers, right after this.
nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Just before the break, Void ended up getting the win in game number 2, essentially securing their spot in Series E, leaving us with only 2 spots remaining for the next season. We got 3 games to go. Let's go ahead and take a look at exactly what happened in that last game. I mean, it was a fantastic win, and we were talking about just how well they played that late game.
It was all about that third party that they came and swooped around for, too. The timing on that was fantastic. Now, again, 33 points overall. That is huge. Redeem, their stock is continuing to rise. Teams like Optimal Ambition, though, and Gas Station, those are the squads to look out for. They have to step it up over these next 3 games.
Yeah, with 3 games left to go, like you said, it's just not that much time. It's not that much time at all whatsoever. We were talking about how you need a big 30-point game and then a few more decent placing ones if you want to have a shot at all. And your opportunities for those pop-off moments are now running out. Let's take a look at the Mobile One high-performance moment from game number 2. And there were a few, and this was definitely one of them. Phase 1 Esports showing why you just can't go for these Velcro ultimates anymore if you're trying to disengage from a fight.
Just great tracking, though, from Papa Midget, making that look easy. I mean, those shots are not as easy as he's making them look. And then the final hunt down on this Wraith player right here, it's tough, man. I mean, you think that you're safe. You're going for that Valkyrie redeploy, and then Phase 1 Esports says no. Tap Strafers, they go out in 16th place before they can even pick up a placement. But, you know, I don't know if there was a situation where they weren't aware of Phase 1 being directly on top of them. But either way, the immediate melt, the Mobile One high-performance moment going on over to Phase 1 Esports, and very well-deserved.
Yeah, they almost got all 3 players before they even landed at the end of that one there. Very close. Phase 1 Esports picking that up. And they had a number of kills in that last game as well. And, you know, for a squad that I'm not that familiar with, glad to see them able to get a pop-off moment of their own.
Yeah, no doubt. And we were saying, could this be the highlight of the day so far? I mean, almost picking out 3 players in the air as they're landing. I haven't seen it in Series Z quite yet, so you got to give them credit where credit is due. But there's the leaderboard again. Very important on our final day to keep the teams, keep an eye out on the teams that are trying to take that 2nd and 3rd spot, because we know Void, after picking up 33 points, they're virtually around that 200-point mark right now, which is untouchable in terms of these other squads catching up. So it's not like they're going to have an opportunity to, you know, pick which partner they're going to have, but the fact that they are the first team to stamp their ticket through this qualification process has to feel good for them.
Yeah, and for Optimal Ambition, they had a pretty decent game. They got top 3, got top 2, I believe, with a decent amount of kills as well. So they're keeping pace with Redeemed. The issue is, though, there's still 3 games left, and they need to break about a 30-some-odd point difference between. So a number of things have to happen for Optimal Ambition. They need Redeemed to basically break a couple games, and then they need to pop off. So things are still not in the favor of Optimal Ambition as we head into game number 3. And speaking of which, this is one of our squads to watch right now, Optimal Ambition. We've seen them in the past. We've seen them in the LCQ. When it comes to the clutch up situations, game number 5s, game number 6s, they have been able to push the issue, get themselves a 30, 35-point game.
So what do you think, Jamerson, if you go in here and you're still tied after game number 3, would you consider landing where Redeemed is? Because you need to catch up and you need to make sure that they're not picking up points. Is it worth the risk to go and do that, or you just continue to play your game?
I don't think you can quite risk that right now because of the lobby state, right? A lot of teams, I think more than we're kind of used to seeing, are playing the edge. And so you leave yourself early on vulnerable to the third parties. Team Void, though, actually getting challenged over here at Climatizer right now. Farmer Lucas forced to slow heal. It looks like the catamaran control or the gondola control was not in the favor of Team Void. The armor should be better on the other side, but they're hitting for whites right now.
Ooh.
Wingman shot coming in from Blitz there.
And they're split. You can see how split they have this team, plus the barrel coming down with the missile barrage. The wingman shot still connecting. I love the use of the bubble right there. However, it's going to be Swift with the Spitfire. There it goes. Too slick now going down to that wingman. Yeah, yeet from the Valkyrie all the way across to try to go and get towards the teammate, but it's just Blitz with the wingman putting in work. Such a great gun overall, but especially early game.
Yeah, and it feels like he had like a 60, maybe 65% accuracy rate with the shot there in this fight. They still need to finish off this Caustic. Unfortunately, door has been locked here. Should be able to recover Gordon, though, but they're just going for full send at this point. They give no cares in the world. I mean, Farmer Lucas is still just pushing up with 1 HP. He's literally 2 shots, and he will go down. Crimson with one last Eva shot. And he might actually have the HP advantage in this final 1v1. Gotta be careful. Yeah, he definitely does with that purple armor now. Pushing out to try and stop the thirst here. He's going to go ahead and chase after the last player remaining. Regiment Elite left in a 1v1 up against Void.
This is very methodical play coming in from both players. This is an amazing 1v1. I'm excited to see which way this one goes. The clamor up on over towards the roof. You can see he got the heals. The barrel is going to be able to connect. That's going to slow him down and take away. Oh my goodness. How does he live throughout all of that? He has to have 1 HP. What? Gibraltar's broken, dude. That math doesn't add up.
Oh my goodness. He actually survives with about 30 HP there. Finally gets born up, and Farmer Lucas, looks like Redeemed are in a fight themselves right now. Z Davis able to get a knock onto Minty Hour. Joey Blackout finds one more. And now it looks like our favorites in this lobby are just absolutely bullying.
I mean, listen, I'm the first to admit that I'm bad at math, okay, especially fast math while I'm casting. But I saw a lot of numbers flying up there, and I thought for sure he was going to have a lot less HP than like 40, 50 HP, Jamerson. Great fight from Blitz, but I thought that was very, very well done from both players, and it could have went either way. But what a 1v1 over there to try to get some more points on the board. Redeem now, they're trying to continue to secure their spot.
Oh,
we just talked about how Optimal Ambition is the team that they got to try to keep away. Now Joey Blackout is going for the heals. You're going to see Z Davis with a little finger roll with the grenade. He's got the alternator. He's got the 2x, and he's looking for some more damage. That pair should definitely be super weak. It's just a matter of time before Redeem closes this one out, and that's all she wrote for this squad. 2 players already down. The 3rd player is getting hunted down by Oxy, and it's just going to be a Wraith queue and just a couple of moments before they get taken down. Great team fight here from Redeem.
Yeah, unfortunately, Tap Strafers going down early on once again here in game number 3, not really being able to find anything going, just rotating through just the wrong teams at this point. Redeemed, a lot more comfortable today than what we were seeing out of them yesterday, and they're looking much better for it at this point. Final boss now. we haven't even had an opportunity to talk about the ring so far, because we've had 3, maybe 4 team fights already breaking out across the map. It does seem to be pulling up here to the northern side. Final boss is in position over by Survey Camp, but fortunately for them, they don't have the best of loot. They're still sitting on double white armors, only the blue here for Awesome Eric. They do have, it looks like, a drop coming down, though, so it might just be a fight for this. It's going to be an extremely valuable one. An 86 heady might give them priority to try and get it, but you can see how close it is to that building. Right now,
yeah,
though.
Good angle right here. I like this play from Final Boss. I think that they're just trying to basically ambush these players over there, but they just are too split. You know, you can't get up there unless you have that Valkyrie, and it's just going to be Eric falling back on over towards the squad. I mean, the pressure was there, but if you get a knock, is your team even in a position to go and collapse on that one afterwards? It's almost like you'd be baiting yourself into a fight, because they'd even be healed by the time you got over there.
Yeah. Now we get a final look at our first ring. Round 1 is still closing, by the way, and we're already down to 17 squads, but it is pulling up to the northeast side. Fairly typical overlook climatizer circle, so a lot of focus should be put onto the rocks in between overlook and climatizer right now. Optimal Ambition, when they do have these northeast zones, do kind of like to prioritize this position. Yeah, just beautiful sprays coming out from the R301. I mean, you can see why it going into the crafter was a little bit important, I would say. Just a good all-around gun, excellent damage, excellent range on it as well.
I think the changes that we have with Apex are just so great. I mean, the meta with the weapons, all the shotguns seem to be fairly balanced. Just remember when the EVA 8 was basically the only shotgun that people were carrying around, and now you have a couple of different opportunities. I think PK is probably the most popular overall and going to be able to do the most damage, which I'm excited about. I always thought the animations, just the overall, you know, flow of the Peacekeeper has been such a fun weapon since the beginning of time with Apex. But the R301 being inside of that crafter like you're talking about, also the presence of mind not to vault it overall and just do something a little bit different and utilize what we already have in the current smorgasbord of opportunities that you have to make decisions in Apex is really, really great, right? So, and an opportunity now to continue to craft over towards the Harvester side as you see some amazing shots there from Illy. That's going to be the knock with the Thermite coming through too, and the flush overall. Huge plays coming in from Illy with the spray, and it's just a matter of time again before they are going to finish off this Valkyrie. I mean, amazing, amazing plays from AOG, starting off with that car with the Digi-Threat.
Again, you can see how you can just kind of freely use that Newcastle ultimate. It's so fast on the cooldown. Yeah, it's 2 minutes. It's already at 17%. It's ticking faster. Imagine you get a gold helmet on that. I believe that brings it down to about 1:30. It's absolutely insane how much utility this new legend actually has, and I want to see more teams kind of explore with it. I understand in qualifiers, maybe not risking anything and playing your true standard Gibraltar, but when we get into the next season of Series E, I am truly excited for the Legend meta.
I'm thinking like someone like Zach Mazer would be amazing on Newcastle, right? Because he's already playing Gibby and he's doing a really good job on that. But having some more like type of mobility, opportunity to collapse on a player that is a very aggressive player overall, that's someone for me that I would say, like, if I had to pick an awesome Newcastle player, I would go with him overall. I think that he has everything in terms of, you know, the shots and the communication. We'll see if that ends up becoming a little bit into the meta further on, or if there's going to be some sort of changes to Gibraltar that makes that kind of fall out of style. But now it's going to be a skyward dive on over towards the sniper post, and we know getting over towards the sniper post this early in the game is very, very difficult.
Especially in this kind of game state, right? We're already down to 16 squads. Not many teams are playing center zone. Take a look at the pileup we currently have. Optimal Ambition, Redeemed, along with CDE over there by No Name. And so a lot of this overlook side is kind of open. Teams can go for some free peeks. You can see right now Z Davis is going for a pretty wide peek over here on the south side, feeling a little bit more comfortable, but gets tagged from behind. So you still kind of have to suss out what's going on in the lobby and have a really good grasp of how the games play a little bit differently here.
No doubt about it. And now we see what Z Davis is going to be able to do on this Horizon. Infiltrating buildings is one of Horizon's specialties. Throwing that black hole down in an already open door is exactly what the vibe's going to be. And that's what the play is. Z Davis gets 2 players separated. 1 person in the bubble, 1 person on the outside. Fortunately for that player, he realizes the situation. The Arc Stars are coming in. He's going to have to go forward. Great use of the Nox gas grenade coming in from Boxa T. And this is a huge fight. Optimal Ambition is directly behind Redeem, and now it's a straight up 2-on-2. Whoever wins this fight could potentially see themselves in Series E. The flush goes in onto Z Davis. He pushes a little bit early, and now they are going to completely back off, understanding, oh my gosh, the shots from Oxy were just so clean. Huge fight there for Optimal Ambition. I think they still have all 3 players up inside of the building, and they do.
Yeah, they're just fighting off a third party right now as Joey Blackout ends up...
oh, no.
He does get credit for that. CDE came in for the third party. Optimal Ambition are out. Redeem have already done it. CDE have done the job for them. And at this point, Redeem now, they just need to survive. They picked up a kill point.
Exactly.
They can just back away here and just try and play as a 2-man. They don't have to full commit on to getting Z Davis back into it. Would they like to? Of course, but... they have a Bloodhound on the other side of this one, making it nigh impossible to get him back.
And I would say if they had a full 3-man squad, this is what Series E is all about, kind of pushing the envelope and taking these fights to these teams that you feel like you're a little bit more confident in. Because if you're going to qualify, you have to be able to take down teams like CDE along the way, right? Even though CDE is a very, very strong team, you say, hey, you know, we're a team that's on the verge of qualifying. We have to feel confident in this team fight. Are you confident enough to take it 2 versus 3? I think that's borderline psycho. I think getting Z Davis back in would be priority, but like you said, Jamerson, I don't think that's going to be an opportunity. I believe they don't have the banner, so they're just going to have to back off of this one and try to reset. But they're going for it. I mean, this is a huge mistake. I'm definitely questioning this play. I hope it doesn't come back to bite them.
Yeah, they can get Z Davis back in, but now they're not going to be able to get Oxyaries back in. So very unfortunate.
That's a Z Davis call. Dude, get my banner. We're good. We're good. We're good. I swear. Oh man, that sucks. But I'm back.
Yeah, you're kind of thinking to yourself, oh, okay. I mean, it's 1 player for 1 player, but the difference is that Oxyaries had loot. You know, when Z Davis gets back in, he's not gonna have loot. So it is a net loss overall for them. But I guess you don't really need to count on the Skyward dives anymore because this ring is pulling so heavily. So yeah, Joey Blackout now, he's gonna have to run and try and find an opportunity here to get a res, but don't know if he will actually be able to. He's actually looking to double back. So the second opportunity. Yeah, you gotta play for the boys.
Who's making the calls here? Because this is a straight up ranked call if I've ever seen one. And he's like, dude, my banner, it's good. These guys are the worst, you know, what were the bad influences of each other that I've ever seen. You know, like, let's just throw the game.
1 KP. I only have 1 KP. I need to get back in.
Yeah. How much KP do you guys got? Are we good? No, man. Like, I haven't gotten my KP yet. It's like, oh wait, this is a tournament.
Oh wait, he's actually going to be able to recover it. You can go for the plug-in. There's a minute left.
No
CDE,
way.
though, might turn around onto this. If CDE sees the res, they're going to turn around onto this 100%.
They may see the bubble. It could have maybe saved the bubble a little bit longer, but the res is going down, and, I mean, we'll see if they're going to be able to get their loot. The fact that they're not camping these banners is kind of crazy, but when you look at the zone, there wasn't really much area to move. Yeah, I mean, they really do, but now you think what seemed like an absolutely crazy play is working out in their favor. And big 112 shot right there. You can see Give No Respect is being taken out, though. It's going to be Joey Blackout coming through. Now Radine ends up going out. Multiple teams in the vicinity. 2 teams collapsing on top of this as we anticipated. So we'll keep tabs on that. I mean, both of these teams being taken out. The 3rd and 4th party popping through. Nick Six also popping that Beast of the Hunt. Wild stuff going on over towards the no-name area.
I mean, it looked like CDE were just looking to just farm up, 2 extra kills off of that. Right. But then ultimately, it was all moths to a flame. So many teams saw it. They're like, we want these points as well. And now they're just kind of donating points over to CDE, a team that wants to find these fights, a team that wants to find as many fights as possible. Are getting so many points. They've already gotten at least 6 that we can see on the board right now. That's going to be another +3 for them. CDE are getting everything they could ask for at this point.
Really nice job there. I mean, Nick accidentally falls down. Fortunately, it works out for him as the Valkyrie player also fell down. And then just the lineup of the PK shots were absolutely phenomenal. Completely spot on with the movement, the scans hitting directly when they needed to as well. Like the way that CDE is playing.
Heads up. Check out this way.
Convoke Esports now on the sniper post. The ring does pull away, so it's going over to the train tracks in between Overlook and Epicenter there. Team's probably already set up in position. Mixers, unfortunately, playing as a two-man. They've been doing some great jobs in the last 2 games of finding aggression and such, and they're going to continue to do so. Black Hole right on top of a full squad. Now the Arcstar's in, but he does at least slow down that Gibraltar. Unfortunately, though, he's on his ones, and now Saucy is here to join him. The defensive bombardment's a little bit late, yeah, that Black Hole is going to end shortly. Carlin lining up the shot, misses it here, but CDE, they don't care. They just want the kill points, and they're happy that no one has fallen yet.
What kind of map movement was that from the other player? That guy had no idea where he was going, which means Carlin had no idea where that player was going. You think he's going left, he's going right. You think he's crouching, he's jumping. Now you have to pay attention to the team directly behind you. Kiku, see you later. The shots with the R3L1, that 2X just so darn strong on that weapon. No opportunity to even get out of there, as you see. Outlaw Abyss eliminated, Armistice eliminated. Now we get down to our final 10 squads, and it's been all CDE in game number 3.
At least 9 kills. They have at least 9 kills currently. Carlin, the kill leader with 4 and 5 assists, and let's imagine the rest of the squad has so much more. Convoke Esports were forced out of that sniper post here on the low ground, but they have plenty of cover to play with, as the full team is ahead of them, but they're giving up their spot. They're trying to rotate in, and that is the right call. There is 9 seconds left to go, but wondering if they might have gone down for it. There is a trade, though, as Hoshi has fallen, and it looks like Saucy able to clean up. So they're still in this as that 2-man. Convoke Esports are going to opt to go for this skyward dive. Surprisingly, no one shoots at them, so they'll be able to get past, and that's one of the cleanest Valkyrie ultimates that we've seen so far, when they looked like they could have been in trouble. CDE on this high ground of Epicenter have found another team. That's going to be the Bums knocked out. At least 10 kills here for Carlin, and he's ready for more.
He's going for the collateral right here. It's the same Horizon. I'd be terrified to shoot this Horizon. He's the most random player that we have on this entire map right now with the way that they're moving around. But I'm looking at yesterday's score. They landed 17 points yesterday, Jamerson, so this is by far the best game that they've had in the qualification process. I would love to see them continue to put down some serious points. Gas Station Gaming, a team that's in contention for the top 3, they go out. Convoke Esports, they go out as well. Now down again to final 6 squads. A handful of them are going to be broken. Carlin's going to make his move onto one team that looks like they are fairly weak over towards the bottom hand side. This Gibraltar is all alone, and that's Fishy OP getting eliminated. What a performance here from CDE. You could tell they're on the same page. The communication seems to be flowing, and they're watching all of their angles going forward as they approach the zone.
Yeah, this is reminiscent of Team Intel in the latter half of the last season, a new roster where they were just farming kills on open nights, and they were continually getting 100-point nights week in, week out. CDE, if they can keep up this pace in the 2 games after this as well, there is a world I think they can hit top 3 right now. Most hated, though, here in the top 3. They're going to try and retake height right now with that gravity lift. And as they do, they are met by CDE. Some great nades are about to come in, though. Been able to just farm up so much utility. Gotta be careful, though. RFE getting tagged up in that mid-grav lift animation there, and so he's going to be forced to bat throughout all the CDE. They have to know the situation that they're in. Even though they want all the kills, they need the they need the placement points as well. It's a 5-point swing, 3rd to 1st place. They need to make sure they secure all of it.
Not only that, but you're looking at 6 kills too, so this is 11 points that they can really necessarily walk away with over towards the tail end, and that is huge when we talk about the discrepancy. The missile swarm is coming through. They weren't able to make it over towards the portal, so if he can portal back on over towards his team, there could be an opportunity to go and get that res. Right now, Nick needs to pop his Beast of the Hunt. When your teammate's down, you have 3 squads remaining right now, pop that Beast of the Hunt, hit those scans, try to force these 2 teams in to each other while one player goes and gets that res off. So CDE, they're in a dire situation right now. That's exactly what they're going for. They're going for the res behind the rock. Enemy team is going to go and push this one. Without the bubble, they're not going to be able to reset as they were hoping for. That's AOG making the way in.
Oh boy, Bradazin has to be careful if they back away. They get the knock on to Nyx, and now we got the black hole coming on in. AOG are completely caught in it. They haven't cleared it quite yet, but the shield comes out from Illy covering that one angle, and they'll peek the other just in case of the third party. Did they stabilize on the other side, though? We'll see. AOG going for the second pass now, charging forward. Will they be able to get the re-knock? Big shots coming in with that massive, but they don't get the knocks quite yet. They're full committing onto it. MJ has gotten the knock on to Illy, and now AOG, the tables have been turned on to them. MJ, most hated, helping out, and they lose out on one. CDE, this is their opportunity, but the kills are getting away from them. Most hated now just down to Base Stola, and CDE with true grit survive, and they'll push in for this final 3v1, and Base Stola will not be able to hold on. CDE with a massive game number 3 win.
CDE ends up in that 3v3v3 situation, being the first team to have players knocked on their squad. They end up getting 2 players knocked on their squad. The enemy team starts pushing around the corner. They get helped by the opposite squad. Then both of those teams fight each other. You really couldn't have a more poor situation work out better in your favor if you're CDE right there. I mean, you would like to, again, like you were talking about, pick up all of the kills along the way because it matters so much when you're scrapping for points and trying to make it into Series E Season 5. But either way, picking up that dub and getting those little extra kill points and placement points along the way is going to be very favorable for the situation going forward.
And there were a lot of individual moments as well. Remember, Carlin was the first to knock. He took that port back, but it was still shy. It was still out in the open. They used the gravity lift to help him cover more distance. Instead of just crawling, he's able to take to the skies and basically jump on over to his squad, get behind cover, get the res. There were so many great moments coming out from the entirety of that CDE squad that basically resulted in that win. I would be surprised if they didn't have 30 points after that. We're going to have to find out. We're going to take a break. When we get back, we'll check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see how they fared in that game. You're not going to want to miss it, guys. We have 2 games left in our qualifiers with 2 spots remaining for Series E. We're going to be right back after this break. Welcome back, guys, to Series E. It's the final day of qualifiers, and we only have 2 matches left. Just before the break, CDE had a massive game. Let's check in with the leaderboard from that last game to see how many points they were able to get. And well, with that last game, they propelled themselves into 2nd place now. They've got 39 points total.
This is big. I mean, we'll find out what happens in these last 2 games. We know that there's basically 2 spots remaining. Void, that first place team, they're also first place in the cumulative leaderboard. You know what that means. They've already stamped their ticket into Season 5. Congratulations for the 2nd time to them. Let's take a look at the Mobile and High Performance moment from game number 3 and find out who gets that crown. Is it going to be the tail end in that final moment? No, it was the big shots coming in from Illy with that car, Jamerson.
Yeah, Illy was doing an amazing job on this Newcastle right here. This is what we're talking about. Having mobility on your defensive legend, your tank player, is so scary. You can see that Valkyrie wanted no part of that fight as soon as that Newcastle ultimate went down.
Amazing use. Not only to get to movement, but to get the defensive wall up so you can use that one and take the angle without really taking any damage too. Like you said, nobody wanted any smoke right there. They just said, hey, let's go and get out of here. And that's kind of how, some of these fights have been going. We've seen some really one-sided fights, and then we've seen some amazing kind of crazy 50-50 fights that happened, like in the beginning of that game with the bubble fight that happened.
Yeah, a lot of fighting taking place, especially early on, like you said. Right now, I believe AOG were able to make top 3. And again, doing it with the Newcastle, I love this. For a lot of squads, really didn't want to, disturb the waters. But at this point, when, AOG, I don't think they're going to be able to make it to the top 3 with 2 games left to go. But testing out a new legend, testing out a new composition, this is such valuable practice, especially when it's the off season. That a lot of teams just don't have the same kind of amount of practice right now.
Realistically, if Newcastle was able to use the Q and that shield to avoid defensive bombardments and more like artillery type of strikes, then I feel like Newcastle would be 1,000% in the meta. But when you look at the final circles and you say, okay, you got to avoid these Nox gas grenades, you have the bubble res that happens and you get all of that accelerated healing and the fast pickup throughout all of that, it makes sense why Gibraltar is a little bit higher pick rate from Newcastle. But when you look at the kit from Newcastle, I think it's a very well-balanced legend. It's not too strong, not too weak, a lot of fun to use, and the abilities and just in general are kind of cool, right? I mean, the shield's really cool. You can move it around. That ultimate, as you saw, throwing down that shield after using that map movement, and you could fly. You can go really far on that, too. We've seen some amazing clips on Twitter overall. But here we go. Game number 4 of 5. Should be at the edge of your seat already. If you're not, maybe start scooting up because this is the final 2 games of the qualifiers to see who makes it into Season 5 for Series E.
Yeah, speaking more about Newcastle's mobility, I mean, there were a few clips where I saw some absurd things, like people going from like the bottom of Skyhook to take Sniper Post or Sniper Hill on top of Trials with the Newcastle ultimate. It's absolutely absurd the kind of rotation you can have with it. And of course, like we've had all day long, we've got another fight. Blitz getting that first knock with a P2020 of all things. We've been taking that 50-50 now 2 games in a row.
Hey, P20 is better than throwing your fists down, right? And it's going to be the flush. I would say so. Hey, man, I rock with that P20. I'm not going to lie. And I would say P20 with hammer points is one of my favorite things to go and use. Like, I love like going with like an R99 or R301 and a P20 with hammer points. People just don't expect it. And it's so good with flushing people that are down. I mean, having no hammer points, yes, we know that it's buns. But if you throw the hammer points on that one, flushing people on the ground too, we all know how annoying those knockdown shields are. Nothing satisfies me more than when I get a knock with somebody and then I just take them out with the hammer points on the ground.
Yeah, one of the great, there are a lot of great things about Apex, but the sound design is amazing. And it feels incredibly satisfying when you're hitting people for flesh with the hammer points. It just... You feel it. You know it's visceral that you're doing so much damage to them right now. For Void, a team that is comfortably in Series E now, can just take all the time in the world to loot up here. They have no worries in the world.
Yep, and they've already, again, secured a decent amount of points overall, so they're going to be kind of chilling, taking their time, letting the kill feed kind of plan out so they could maneuver that way. Looking at a heavy skyhook zone here, Jamerson. I mean, a lot of different areas to go and hold. We all know Market inside of Skyhook is a very, very popular ending. What are you feeling in terms of these Skyhook endings right now?
Yeah, I can definitely see it. It pulling up towards Market. That is probably the 75% ring for us. I think with how hard it's hugging towards that northwest, though, that small compound, you have to give it a good percentage there. Unfortunately, I gave it 75 to Market, but yeah, definitely pulling up towards the northwest side unless we get a weird flip on that ring. Phase 1 Esports.
Nice
shots. Nice shots coming up from Moonshine there. The wingy, even though it's just the white mag.
What is Twitchy doing so far from his team?
I have no idea.
Dude, Twitchy is so far. This guy is taking the mega flank right now, and he's got it. That's going to be Rambo going down. Where do you would think that this is two teams, right? But they are that split away, and great way to open that up there for Moonshine with the back-to-back 45s into the missile swarm. Now the flank comes in from the Gibraltar in Phase 1. They're looking good. I mean, every time you look at one of these players' shots between, Midget, Moonshine, Twitchy with the flank, they've looked very strong. I'm excited to see. I don't think they're going to be in a position to qualify, but this is a team that I would definitely continue to look out for on the open days going forward. I'd love to see them continue to compete.
Yeah, another unfortunate start there, though. That was Rambo that ended up going down to Phase 1 Esports, and that's Gas Station Gaming now down a player, a team that was on the bubble at the beginning of the day who had great momentum after taking 2 wins in yesterday's games early on. Now their chances are diminishing and dwindling fast before our eyes. Whew. We had the quick pause there, and I thought it was going to be another game for a reset like we had yesterday as well, but looks like it was just a momentary pause as Tap Strafers now. They're trying to reverse their fortunes. The first 3 games of the day were not going in their favor whatsoever. Multiple times, I believe, shot out of the skies. Now they're just trying to take a ground battle here.
Yeah, they're the Tap Strafers, they're not the Air Strafers, so maybe they need to change their name and work on that one as we see Void, #1 team overall on the accumulated leaderboard. And for today, Borton taking a lot of damage. Bubble is going to go down. The reset happening inside with the quick heals. Farmer Lucas is going to answer that one onto Carlon, who has been playing on that Wraith. Now you can see Farmer Lucas is going to get healed up. He's not going to fully heal, though. Hasn't hit any of the meds overall. Still utilizing a little bit of this Caustic, Nox Gas Grenade, and the barrels to take down RFE. And now only 1 player remains on the squad. And I love to see that from Void. I mean, that's what is really showcasing what their team's about. They looked like they were about to be taken down, but a very well-placed bubble from Blitz and then the smart reset, and now CDE ends up being eliminated in 19th place. MJ on the horizon is going to get a knock and a flush onto Minty Hour. So it looks like he's going to continue to heat up overall, too. A lot of great plays from a handful of different players in the beginning of this game. Bums on the ropes over here. They're trying to get out of dodge, and this is a little bit of a sketchy situation because you are running away, but you don't know what's on the opposite side of this choke.
Oh, I think when they're landing shots like that and it's Team Redeem, you take your chances on the other side of the choke, but they're not even going to be able to make it there. Bums absolutely deleted. But yeah, we have to talk about CDE going down there 19th. The winners from game #3 who had a big pop-off game, and their shots absolutely almost gone now. They could not. They had to post points every single game. And now with only 1 game left to go, they need like a 40 or 50 point game, which is absolutely unheard of.
Yeah, almost impossible, really, realistically, because especially in these final games, teams are going to be sending it so fast because they understand, hey, mathematically, what do we need? Maybe some people will even give up hope, which you don't really hope that that's going to be the case, but you could definitely understand why maybe a little frustration would set in if you feel like you aren't going to be able to qualify. But you want to always, keep the integrity of your squad because it's all about the long game here. You want to try to get into the practice as much as possible, etc., etc. Now Redeem looks like they're heating up. They're feeling themselves after game #3 taking out Optimal Ambition, getting those reses, and now they are continuing to hunt down players. The 2-4X turbocharged Havoc for Z Davis.
Yeah, Gas Station Gaming just still not out of hot water quite yet over there at, well, Geyser, as it looks like Tap Strafers have shown up in the area. They're not too far away to try and get involved in third party. But unfortunately, they've got to deal with a team to their back right now, as Triggered Me and Blake both need to heal up. I'm surprised Real's not even hitting some cells at this point, but he will finally take that opportunity and keep an eye on the bridge for the time being. Tap Strafers, again, first 3 games, not going so well for them. This time around, they're trying to take some early fights instead of getting stuck in bad positions, but looks like they might be finding themselves again stuck in a bad spot as they are getting forced back.
Yeah, Real is doing the smart play here. They're making their way back on over towards the zone. When fighting starts to take place there, especially understanding that this is one of the most popular spots to go and fight, we don't even have time to talk about that right now because Papa Midget has laid down some PK shots. Moonshine is there as well. Now it's just Fishy from the Outlaw comments, and he is bailing. Phase 1 continues to heat up. Jamerson, they are taking a lot of map control right now. I mean, they're maneuvering all over the place.
Yeah, this is so awkward because this is a Skyhook zone. There's so many buildings here. No one fights like this in Skyhook when the ring pulls this way. But they are afforded a lot of this freedom because so much of the fighting is taking place on the south side as well. Looks like Most Hated, though, will help knock out Gas Station Gaming. So 2 of our squads that were really looking for a really strong finish in the final 2 games have been knocked out early. This is Optimal Ambition's opportunity now to make up for game number 3.
The thing with Optimal Ambition, though, they need to start stringing together some serious points too, man. It's been kind of a slow day for them overall, especially considering some of these other teams kind of stepping up and taking a chunk of their points away, as we see what OA Outlaw Abyss is going to be doing, a different OA. What the Fuzz, this is one of the players that we were highlighting before, and we haven't really had an opportunity to see his screen, but he has been someone that's been slowly but surely rising up in the Series E qualification ranks individually and as a squad, popping off in that kill feed. So it's cool that we get an opportunity to see what their rotation is going to be, making the way over from this Harvester Choke. Very popular rotation coming over to where this cave and tunnel is going to be. Nice scan, checking the back along the way. And you almost want to save that scan again to go and check forward over here, but they're just going to go ahead and push.
Optimal Ambition on the kill feed. We're able to knock Joey Blackout. We'll see if they can find more. They need to knock out Redeem right now. One of the squads currently in the top 3. It looks like it was a long-range one, and they really won't be able to capitalize off of that. Unfortunately, you can see team, considering that this ring might be pulling up towards that northwest compound, have taken that position. Optimal Ambition not too far away, just a couple buildings away from that marketplace, and we're expecting maybe this ring pulls over too.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one of those zones where once round 2 closes, going into round 3, we're going to get a lot more information. So I'm curious to see who's kind of electing to play the edge right now, maybe hitting a scan, hitting a Valkyrie scan, and then they're going to go for the Skyward Dive and then make their way out over towards the Skyhook. But realistically, getting into Skyhook early is never a bad thing, especially for the teams that are in a good position already points-wise. If you are looking for more points, typically you're going to want to play the edge, try to make your way going forward. But a lot of real estate being gobbled up. You can see in that north side, in the central side of the circle, that's going to be great for the teams that are already there. However, if you're on the east side, that's not looking good, right? The south side of the zone should be favorable. Yes, you're going to have to go over towards that choke point, etc., etc. But really look out for OA because they have a lot of action that's going to be going their way.
Hoshi right on top of Arm Assist right now. Riku might actually fall, but the bubble is there from Marksman to keep his teammate up. A defensive environment thrown down to slow the fight, but the bubble is gone. Riku, you have to get behind cover, and he will, but it's going to be a full 3-man push onto Marksman, and he will fall. Avoids picking that one up. Riku, the only one alive, but not for long, as Mixers come in for the cleanup. Now they're controlling this entire northwest side. I believe they were the team that were playing the compound, too. So it was a really good push out. Here's Most Hated coming in for the third party. Can they get the re-knock? Looks like the res did go through. Most Hated, though, are going to be able to push forward now. They have to make sure that the reset doesn't happen on the other side, but the armor swaps are there for them if they needed to use it. MJ will use that grav lift to take height now, but it looks like they were able to back away to that building safely.
They booked it, Jamerson. They understood the situation, and they said, hey, we got to get into safety over here. A great job pressuring over towards the side, but here comes another party into the fray. It's going to be Void. Now, this is the first time we've seen Void kind of, miss time a third party, not understanding that there is another team that's coming from the opposite side. But if they could take this cleanly, this is what it's all about. You have to test the limits. You need to make sure that you're able to not just win their fight, but also fend off the other team. So we'll see if Blitz decides that he wants to toss a defensive bombardment across and then take that fight. Realistically, that seems like the best play. But you saw the trails coming in right over towards that northeast side and the pings going down. There's another team that's making their way over here. So now we're looking at 4 teams all trapped in over towards where Void's going to be, and now Void's going to have to slow things down temporarily.
Yeah, like you said, after game number 2, everything is just limit testing for Void and kind of hammering out all the wrinkles that that they might have going into Series E. So this again, they're still playing this fairly standard. They're not, I think, doing anything out of the norm. They're just making sure that everything that they're doing is going to be bog standard once they get into Series E. So holding down that top building, Convoke Esports, committing a lot of nades into this building right now, and I don't even think they actually have a realistic possibility of trying to go in for that. So I'm surprised that they ended up using basically the last of their nades for basically nothing.
This is what I miss a little bit about the Wraith meta too, because this is great portal distance to go and try to poke your way in there, see what you can get away with, fight within distance of that portal, and then make your way back on over towards your safe spot. But right now, you've already used your movement, which is that Valkyrie redeploy, that Skyward dive, to get on over towards this point to begin with. And like you said, Void, they're limit testing. They're trying to see exactly what they can get away with. And Jamerson, if they could, live throughout all this situation, if they can kill these teams around them while they're all being focused, imagine what that's going to do for their confidence going forward. It's all about building that confidence, testing your limits, and if you can get away with it, you're going to feel virtually unstoppable and untouchable, and that's what you want to see from these top teams right now. I mean, that's what makes great teams great here in Apex. Great shots there from Blitz moving forward too with that 30-30. And this is a great weapon selection. I mean, you're going to be able to get that arm shield up with Gibraltar because that 3x is perfect. Charge that up to red already. You almost want to consider dropping your red armor on over to Borton or to Farmer Lucas and continue to charge that up for them.
And particularly, not just limit testing for them, but learning how to play this position. This has been a ring that we've been seeing a bit more frequently, more prevalently, with some of the changes to the algorithm and the polls in the last, I want to say, 6-7 months. And so being able to learn how to play the top of this house is going to be extremely important as the ring does end up pulling this way. And we said at the beginning, market probably 75%, but the other 25% is going to be pulling over this side. And so Team Void were able to recognize that. They got into position. They fought for the top of this building as well, and they fought just enough to control the building. They didn't need to get kills. Here's Outlawed Abyss, though, fighting on top of Sniper Hill right now, on top of Trials, as What the Fuzz not able to quite connect using that grab lift, but they're now going to go ahead and full send it into this bubble. The 76 out from Fosty, but he will go down. That's going to be Give No Respect, getting the first knock in this fight. Fosty will get finished off, and Highlight with a quick armor swap just in time to fight back. Now he needs the rest of his squad to show up. There it is. Frag out with that high angle, using that Valk. They only lose out on Highlight. They'll be able to get that res onto him safely.
I feel for What the Fuzz right there, because every time I play Horizon, oh no, he's getting the BM too. Listen, What the Fuzz, I completely get it, man. Every time I'm in the air as Horizon, I can never hit my shots. And I look at all these other Horizon players up in the air just laying down beam after beam. Oh no, the stinky gas is coming through onto Regiment. The push coming in from Papa Midget as well. Looks like it's up to Too Slick, and he is not interested in sticking around. Has the bubble if he wants to use it. That would be the time as you're climbing the wall. Risky play, and he gets away from there, but just temporarily, as the bubble being saved for the very last second. Are they going to go with the Fist of Fury? No, they are going to respectably take him down with the PK. It's Illy, it's AOG coming back and picking up some kill points. Unfortunate for Regiment Elite, they're going to go out. But a lot of these teams, now that they've picked Skyhook, and they thought possibly this market ending, which we were anticipating too until it pulled on over towards the buildings, means that they have such a rotation that they have to go and make moving forward, and that's exactly how you'd want to go and do that one, but you're not in the zone quite yet. There's a lot of players griefing inside of there, and that's Z Davis with the shots and the finish. Phase 1 Esports, they're another team on the edge of the zone too, and they're getting shot over towards the high ground. An absolute bloodbath over towards the bottom of Skyhook.
Yeah, give no respect. Still up here on that Sniper Hill. You can see why it's called Sniper Hill. These bins absolutely just so great if you want to play that long range. He's got that charge rifle to poke across a little bit more. Unfortunately, no ammo for him, but still, with 6 shots, you can basically get halfway towards that red Evo shield now. Fortunately for him, he's got to use the iron sights, but hey, he's still making good use of it. Can they get the knock? Here comes in a nade. I don't know if you need to go for that arc star, but they definitely will. Goes down onto a shield of all things. There it is.
Oh.
A knock onto Floop, and they need to kind of make the push right now. There's 45 seconds. The zone's about to start closing in on them, and here is the port that you called out for, Tom. Neg is going to go for it here, and then we'll see if they can follow up. It's a little bit high, but he should be able to jump back into it.
Oh, no.
Not when you're on the ground like this. All right, give no respect. They're learning. They're learning on these pushes. There we go. Frag out gets the knock onto Butters. Be able to start pushing in and finish off the rest of the squad, but they need to do it fast. They need to do it quickly here because they've got 15 seconds to go. The Caustic is slowing things down immensely.
I'm so on board with what Neg's thought process was, and I can't tell you how many times I've done that personally. I mean, what the fuzz, Neg? I totally get it, guys. Happens to me so many times. That portal looked like it was perfectly placed, but for some reason it stays on in towards the air. But the presence of mind, understanding the situation, hey, we have time to go down here, lay this portal down. If it doesn't work out, we can get back over here and heal. If not, we're going to be rewarded big time with some extra kill points and placement points. But here's the big fight over towards that building that is highly contested. 3 teams stacking over here.
Yeah, and we saw Convoke Esports. They were on the other side, I believe, of the train tracks, but they were able to make their way on in. Radine have been knocked out. That's MJ coming in with some great kills. Now final boss losing out on their Gibraltar, unfortunately, though. He's on the other side of the fence. He's bleeding out, and the gas is going to take Awesome Eric down. There might be an opportunity for Ares to get him back in, but here's Team Void now poking out. Blitz will take his time to heal up, but we'll see. They should be able to possibly get this re-knock. It's Farmer Lucas on the front line, so he doesn't have to deal with the the caustic gas. He's gonna go for that re-peek once again, peeking out into that window, leaves it free for Farmer Lucas to push in through that door. He'll back away though just in time as he almost goes down. Now leaving that team underneath him a little bit vulnerable. Convoke Esports though still struggling to try and re-establish themselves. We're down to 5 squads, by the way. 14 players remaining. It looks like the reset did come down here on that first floor.
Yeah, the reses went through. I'm shocked that Blitz didn't add a little bit more pressure. I think it was because of the fact that they didn't have the bubble up. But now the bubble is going to go down inside the bottom floor. That's more than likely going to be the second res and the heals. And that's the reason why they're going for that bubble inside of there. But Void's in a tough spot right now because the team that's locking things down on over towards the rock are in a great position, and they have to flush these players out of their building if they want to continue to advance. Otherwise, there's really not much opportunity to move forward, because once you go and you bubble down, the enemy team's bubble is going to go down as well. Then they're both going to coexist inside of the same area, and the team that's furthest away is going to be in a great spot. Instead, they're just going to immediately send it on over towards the trailer, which is a great play. That ended up being a solo play, worked out even better than they would have hoped for, and now all of the barrels are going down. You couldn't ask for a better play or time there from Void. Perfectly executed.
Fully moving in as a unit. Bubble has gone down. Looks like Noxias grenade possibly going in. Blitz gets the knock onto C-Fly. Convoke Esports just down to 1. They are knocked out. Void, though, in their defense, ends up losing out on Blitz, and he is stuck outside. Farmer Lucas will fall next. Optimal Ambition, always the slow burn team, find themselves once again here in the top 3. Borden actually finding an opportunity to try and go for the res. Most hated can't push out because of the threat of Optimal Ambition on the other side of this wall. And oh no, say
that's
it
the best
ain't
time to lag out ever.
MJ ends up disconnecting here. The ring's closing in. He's bleeding out. Basedola's gonna get the assist on that one. No, that's not how it works, but most hated lose out. This is Optimal Ambition's opportunity now to go in, go out for the peaks. It's the 3v2v2. They just gotta be careful not to lose anyone. They get pushed out. It's gonna be Void. Farmer Lucas going down first, but Optimal Ambition swat that away expertly. Only one player remaining now for Void. The defensive bombardments have been evaded, and Boxa T is melting. Only one player left for Team Void. They will get knocked out, and that's Optimal Ambition getting the win here in game number 4.
Oh man, you got a feel for phase 1 and MJ. That is the worst time to ever have some sort of issue with lagging out of the game. Amazing job from OA to be able to capitalize, but you wonder what if and what could have happened for a team that was in a priority position in what looked like to be a god spot. Already has been playing well throughout the qualification process. Hopefully that doesn't happen to them ever again, as we did see some just amazing performances from a handful of different squads there. Void with the great push out over towards the trailer. At the ending there from OA, the shots seemed to be directly on point. A lot of great facets of the game too from Void, which is really important. We've seen some amazing rotations, but also great edge play, and then we're seeing, you know, great takeovers of buildings mixed in with great zone knowledge. So when we go and see which team that we're looking for from the qualification process, definitely Void, because of the Swiss Army knife in terms of what they can bring to the table in Apex.
Yeah, we already congratulated Void early on game number 2, but they're still managing to impress us throughout the day. Speaking of which, we're almost done. We have one final game remaining, 2 spots on the line here in Series E. That means we're going to take a break, and when we get back, we'll have our final game right after this.
Tyson boneless buffalo bites have that tasty kick of flavor, so they're perfect for any get-together. If there are any left when your guests arrive. Tyson Anytizers Chicken. More kicks of flavor, more smiling snackers, more to love. Tyson.
For nothing, baby. Let's get in there.
All right, welcome back, guys, to Series E. Just before the break, Optimal Ambition got a much-needed win, but the big question is, did they get the kill points that they need to try and catch up on the overall leaderboard? Let's check in with the Mobile One leaderboard to see where they stand now. After 4 games, they are currently in 3rd place overall today, but it still looks like they have some ground to make up.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing what happens in this final game. It basically comes down to this. You're going to need a big dub and a lot of kill points along the way. But one thing's for sure, I just got to keep giving credit to Void. I know that there's a big race going on for these final 2 spots for when we only have 3 spots remaining. But the consistency from Void, everything is really coming together from them. And I think that we saw that in the zone knowledge that they approached that final circle in by getting on over towards the buildings. We take a look at the Mobile One high performance moment from game number 4, moving into game number 5. Who do we got over here? It's going to be Optimal Ambition in the final circle in the final moment.
You can see how quickly they respond to the call gets made by Blake. Hey, they're sliding into our bubble right now. And you saw all 3 players of Optimal Ambition just focusing down Farmer Lucas here, and then return their focus on to the squad up top, and they just absolutely demolished them. It was just a 2-man. Unfortunately, Most Hated ended up having a very unfortunate disconnect at the end there. Blake got a little bit lost in the confusion, but still, Optimal Ambition end up cleaning this one out. They still need one last good game, and I mean, it wouldn't be an Optimal Ambition finish if it didn't come down to game number 5.
Exactly, and you just feel for MJ too, who was the player that lagged out there for Phase 1 Esports, because he most likely had his black hole, and when you look at all of the players kind of conjuring over towards the bottom of the map right here, nothing would have been better than a grav lift into a black hole with multiple nades in a defensive environment. Really would have threw off all of the teams at that given point in time, because they would have had the high ground and a huge advantage. So unfortunate timing, probably the most unfortunate timing that you could end up having, but at the same time, Optimal Ambition, they don't know that that was the case. They're going to take that dub any way that they can, and the way that they're able just to kind of close it out with the thought process of checking all of the situations and going through the checklist of what they need to do to win that game was definitely extremely impressive. So now we move into this final game, and we'll see, you know, if you get taken out early, you don't stand a chance. So it's kind of a passive type of approach that you need to have over towards the tail end, because you know the teams that need a lot of points are going to be playing extremely aggressive.
Now, just to set it up once again, let's go ahead and look at the cumulative leaderboard. It's only the top 3 that will be securing a spot in Void. Have that in spades right now. Optimal Ambition are about, what is that, 18 points behind Team Redeem. So it's Team Redeem on the bubble. Most Hated isn't safe either. They're a little bit, maybe almost out of reach for Optimal Ambition, but here I want to lay the history. LCQ1, to secure a spot into LCQ2, Optimal Ambition had a 35-point game number 6 to secure their spot. So, if they can recreate that, they can absolutely get into the top 3.
Totally. And I mean, the pressure's really on Redeem, in my opinion, because that's a team sitting in 3rd place, and Optimal Ambition really have nothing to lose. You're already out looking in, so you got to just go balls to the wall and push the envelope the entire time. And I think that based on what you're saying, this is nothing new to them, right? This is something that they kind of look forward to and thrive in, and you could see that from the performance that they had in game number 4. That was a huge win for them. Even if they were able to get 3rd place, that means so much more, you know, than in terms of points and getting that differential up from 1st to 3rd place. So things really working out in their favor in game number 4, and we'll see if they can keep that momentum going into game number 5. But realistically, you know, Most Hated, they should be feeling pretty good. I think it's just kind of the waiting game for them. They should be the team, if anything, that should be hiding all the way into like the top 5, right? So just don't do anything too risky. Don't get taken out. If you see Optimal Ambition popping off in the kill feed, then maybe you start to stop turtling and you continue to get a little bit more aggressive. But Redeem has to play their game here. They need to make sure that they're not afraid to, you know, take fights, et cetera, because if a team like Optimal Ambition starts pushing them and runs into Redeem and kills Redeem, then that's going to set them off, and Optimal Ambition is going to get a lot of confidence from that.
Yeah, so Optimal Ambition down by 18 up against Redeem, and then down by 26 to Most Hated. So 2 separate opportunities there. Again, one big pop-off game here, or Redeem and Most Hated going down early, then kind of having a decent game. That's all Optimal Ambition needs. No one else behind them really to worry about. Unfortunately, Gas Station Gaming were not able to get anything going despite the momentum that they had yesterday. So all eyes are on those three teams right now. Here we go. The final game of the qualifiers here for Series E. Two teams looking to secure their spot now in the top three to make their way in for the next season.
And something that we got to call out, obviously 17 squads here. A lot of teams feel mathematically eliminated and deflated. They know that they can't just bust out a 100-point game. So they're just, calling it quits and saying, hey, GG, we'll try again for next season. Hopefully, we'll see them in the open night because remember, there is an open night and a pro night here in Series Z. And now Gas Station Gaming, expect them just to go completely insane here towards the tail end of this final qualifier. They know what's at stake here. They have to drop an absolutely huge game, almost mathematically eliminated here. But hey, if you start wiping every single squad in the lobby, maybe you'll stand a chance.
We've seen close to 40 points game before, but those are the rarest of rares as Team Mixer in a 2v3 now over here at Skyhook. How many more points will they give away, essentially, at this point? I just saw Optimal Ambition's name through the mountain, and they were able to pick up a purple armor. So things are looking good so far. Avoids has fallen. Hoshi is now the only one up for Mixers. And I don't think he's really going to have much of a chance, He's getting chased down by all three members of Gas Station Gaming. Got the grav lift to go ahead and take height and push into the medical building. Arcstar forcing him inside. Nicey with that Mozam out. So we'll be able to finish off Hoshi. All right, Gas Station Gaming, that's one team down. You just need to kill 16 more or 15 more squads.
You know what's great to get from the Gas Station? Mixers, if you're going to go for third parties and multiple parties. So if you're partying all night, you're going to need, the gas. You're going to need the mixers. We'll see what they're going to be able to do. I mean, you said it, Jamerson, 40 points is almost unheard of. That's what they're going to need. They're going to need one of the most phenomenal games of Apex that they've ever played. A thermal station zone. When we look at this, this is a zone that is fairly tough. If you're not in there, you are definitely going to be feeling the pain from the squads that are just lining up all of the fire. And realistically, I mean, there's so many different thermal station endings. You would think this is going to end very close to where MJ is right now.
Yeah, Pipeline is definitely a spot that we're looking at. There have been a few zones that will pull up towards the houses on the north side of thermal station, on the other side of the lava. But again, it's just one of those moments where you're waiting. You're waiting for that zone too. You want to go ahead and pull up that scan, then have confirmation about where that fourth ring or third ring will be pulling. For Optimal Ambition, though, this is the weird ebb and flow for them because they need to be active, to make sure that they feel absolutely comfortable. But an 18-point game and Redeem going down early could also just mean that they only need, the win and 6 kills, which is just the standard win. Just the standardest of wins. You make it to late game, you don't fight at all, you just kill the last two teams, and you get 18 points.
I love this play from Optimal Ambition, understanding the situation that where they're at is one of the most commonly third-partied areas in all of Apex Legends, especially when we're talking about this zone specifically. So they're going to stay active and stay on the hunt because there's going to be a lot of teams rotating, right? So you have two options. One, you could continue to fight the teams that are rotating out from staging into this choke, or you could get into a possible priority game-winning position and look at the kill feed and say, hey, what's going on with Redeem? If Redeem gets eliminated, then we're going to be in a really good spot, especially if we're just able to get into the God spot, which we believe is these buildings where the pipeline is going to be. So ping's potentially going down for OA, but they're very close to where this end game is going to be. So this is, not going to get them and net them as many kill points as they're hoping for. And at this point, if you're Redeem, you have to almost be doing the same exact thing. One of the players from Redeem looks like they didn't make it into the game. That is Z Davis.
Oh, no. Oh, no. And he was on Twitter just yesterday. I mean, we've been having so many problems, unfortunately, with the servers and such since the last patch. I mean, it always happens. It's really unfortunate that we can't have him in. for this one. And unfortunately, you know, we do have a timeline here. We've already delayed our qualifiers by 2-3 weeks and can't really afford to take any more time. So hopefully this doesn't affect Redeem too badly, but yeah,
it's hard because
we all feel
really
free.
just want to see the most fair thing possible, right? So you want to root for OA to have a big game, but you know you don't want a team that's already got a spot kind of locked down to not have their full team and have it be as competitive as possible. So Z Davis, hopefully things work out in your favor. Definitely feel for you like Jamerson's talking about. Meanwhile, we'll continue to get back to what we do. That's casting the game. That's Gas Station Gaming. Looking for the melt, and they get it onto Shrill's the Thirst onto the ground there, and then the hunt down from Rambo. They are serious about finding this player.
Yeah. Gas Station Gaming, remember, their chances at this point is to kill the entire lobby, and so they need to basically go on kill farming mode. I mean, it's like we're going back to the initial days of Apex when the only tournaments we had were just kill races between content creators. So that's what Gas Station Gaming are up to right now, and it's just movement. Answered for movement. It looks like the balloon was used there by Convoke Esports, but Seafly needs to heal up. He's got to be careful. There we go. Playing the other side of the zone. If you need to take the time to heal, and yeah, he's got the zone to his back. That's why he's healing up first.
And that zone's not going to take completely away all of those shields, but now the push is starting to come from the enemy team. You can see Convoke now throwing opposite bubble down on the other side here. Seafly jumping over the thermite. What a madman!
Absolutely turning on to these players right now. Gas Station Gaming weren't expecting this squad to just completely turn around on them, but I see RVR might just be in a 1v2. They kind of split up there, and I think players might still be over there at Survey, but there we go. Gas Station Gaming he
was going for the thirst. He was trying to ruin their game right there. He's like, you're coming down with me, and you know, I respect the play. I mean, Gas Station Gaming, hats off to you for continuing to fight it out right there. Seafly, hats off to you as well, man. No one was expecting the craziest play of all time. No shields, no problem. Thermite there, no issue at all. We're still trying to take that 2v3. Meanwhile, Tap Strafers, they're going to be eliminated. Papa Midget and the squad continuing to look really, really strong again. I'm just hoping that we see these names continue to pop up, whether they make it into Series E or not. Again, the open day is just such a great opportunity to go and improve yourself, and I've seen some amazing, amazing plays from players that we've never seen before.
12 squads remaining, and Optimal Ambition are just playing the waiting game. Redeem, unfortunately, down to a duo at this point, and just one other squad really waiting things out. Most hated, still waiting in the wings at this point. Optimal Ambition, though, I think set themselves in a really good spot. Like you said, they moved away from that high traffic area, the high third-party area. And, well, the ring might actually pull up that way and maybe end up in the platform in between Optimal Ambition and Redeem.
Which is wild. Both teams kind of playing this cat and mouse game. Nobody really showing in the kill feed quite yet, too. And this is kind of what you expect, right? Once we get into the top 10, things are going to tighten up even more. But look at how spread out everyone is, Jamerson. This is going to be a very, very slow final game.
Yeah, this is really weird. About 5 teams right now on the north side of the map. It looks like Gas Station Gaming about to run into a full squad over at Landslide. We have CDE trying to chase down Void, possibly through Fragment East. Might run into what's looking to be a solo there in Fragment West as well, and teams just slow rotating throughout all of this. We have not seen too much focus on the center zone. It's been a lot more edge play coming out from our squads in the final day of qualifiers.
Definitely has. Everyone kind of taking their sweet time getting that loot in too. Not really anticipating much fighting going over the next minute or two, maybe even the next zone or two. So everyone going to kind of cramp up, and we can expect probably into zone number 5 there's still to be around 8, 9, maybe even 10 squads, unless some sort of massive fighting takes place with a handful of different third parties. But the seems to be the vibe right now is everybody getting all the loot that they want, and then they're going to make the way into Thermal Station, which typically is the opposite of how Thermal Station gets played.
Yeah, we see heavy rotations very early on, balloons on balloons. That's the nice thing about getting into Thermal. There are a lot of balloons around. to try and get in. And so you'll have that Valkyrie ultimate, and then you chain it into a balloon, and then you'll have a pretty decent spot. There are plenty of buildings to play off of, but all our squads currently just playing on the edges. We're seeing a lot of transitions. I mean, Floop is on the Octane. We got Butters picking up the Bloodhound. A lot of Bloodhounds have been picked up today.
Yeah, this is a very fun composition. I mean, we talked about different legends. Now we get a chance to see Octane too. So tack that one up to the amount of different, you know, we didn't see any Cryptos, Bangalores. I love Crypto, man. I don't know about you, Jamerson, but I'm just such a Crypto fan. I wish we saw him used a little bit more. Just such a tough legend to play, though, because you never know when you're safe to get in that drone, etc., etc. Not a lot of people understand how to really use Crypto in the composition, and then anytime you add something, you have to take something away, too. So we'll see if we get that going forward, but everybody really rocking a different team composition. It's not like one composition is stronger than the other. Big black hole coming through from added. Great arc star from Butters. That's going to connect. Floop has to back off. He's going to go and heal. While that's happening, the bait and switching is going down. Butters has to scan in the next 5 seconds, but you know where all these players are. They're in the Dorito building. Defensive bombardment is going to be landing. Neg with the wingman shots, but it's answered right back onto Highlight. Big plays coming in for Butters to be able to even this team fight. However, it looks like there's another team coming in from behind, or that was just an amazing flank. No, that was Jet, I believe, coming in around the corner. And he is rocking, I believe, the Loba, too. So watch out as now the third and fourth parties coming through. And like we talked about, there really wouldn't be much fighting unless there is going to be a third party. And what better spot than the Dorito building?
Yeah, and Gas Station Gaming needs all of these kills. They cannot let them get away from them. They currently have at least 6. The third party is there, but Gas Station Gaming, because they came in on a third party in a 3v2, it's an easy reset for them, and they want these fights. So as soon as they top off, they will go ahead and peek on out. It's going to be Rambo getting that first tag, making first contact here. Thermite missing onto him, and they're just funneling into these wingman shots for him. He'll dish out on some of the damage, though, as the nades do come in from the other side, but here he is with the flank on the PK.
Nice.
But it's a 2v1 outside. He needs Rambo and Jet out here to help him out. As they go for that bubble, they're getting challenged. The 90 crack onto that Valkyrie, turning onto the Caustic now, and Jet is there for the flank. There's the next knock onto Crimson, and Gas Station Gaming with another quick armor swap. It gives them a little bit more HP there. It's still a 2v1. It looks like they might be able to finish them off. Never mind, it's a 2v2. Swift has gone down. Now it's the 2v1 as they slide onto the Jibby. Gas Station Gaming pick up another +3.
Gas Station, where was this all of Series E qualifiers, man? If they were playing like this, they would have been even in a better position than Void is. I mean, they are looking like a team to be reckoned with right now, almost looking like a pro team in the ALGS, like, you know, Aim Assist or something along those lines, or even the current team intel that we have with James Fearless and their squad. That's a very aggressive, fun team to go and watch out for, too. But now, Void coming around the corner. Is this redeemed? Looks like they potentially have this team on the ropes, and it is a 2-man squad. This could be an opportunity for Optimal Ambition to do something. That's going to be Joey Blackout going down to the PK. One more player, I believe, alive on this team. That's going to be the Thirst there from Borton, so he can go and hit that fast armor swap. Is he going to let go for the battery? Instead, he does. Meanwhile, last player, Oxy, is going to bail. Doesn't even go for the heal, though, Jamerson, because he doesn't want to give away any sound cues.
He does not. He couldn't have made it far. They know that, and they're just trying to secure as many points as possible, so they don't want to make any sound cues whatsoever. That's 2 placement points, by the way. And Optimal Ambition still have to make up for that. Are currently being matched by Team
So 20
Redeem.
points overall. That's what they need.
Yeah, well, the 18, yeah, because they both have made the 2 placement points so far. So it's always difficult doing all this math. That's why we let the admins do everything. Because
True, you're right.
I can't trust myself whatsoever. Looks like Gas Station Gaming, though, we're able to find another kill. That's going to be Yurza. Seems like he was a solo going down. Gas Station Gaming, though, with 18 players left for them to try and clean up, they still need almost the rest of these kills in the lobby.
Well, realistically, if they can just get inside the top 5, that's going to be okay for them, because they need to start picking up kills eventually here, very soon. But once they kind of, it's all up to Oxy, really. If Oxy can rat this thing out and get into the top 5, that's going to be phenomenal. Because if at that point, one, you need to get the dub if you're Optimal Ambition, and then two, you're going to need to squad wipe both of the final teams right there, because you're going to get 12 points for the win, plus the 6 kill points if you're able to get all of the kills with just 3 teams remaining. So this is a very, very tight race. I mean, you can't really ask for anything better here, unless Z Davis was to be able to connect. That would have made things 10 times more interesting, but this is a tight situation. I mean, everybody holding their breath right now from both of these squads, especially Redeem.
Wait, was Icy on the Mad Maggie this whole time? I didn't even realize. It's that the riot drill was used to take out CDE, and CDE is now knocked out. Rambo picking up a kill there onto RFE, so they are keeping the pace. It's Team Void, though. As actually, we just take a look at the ring. The ring's pulling away, so Optimal Ambition might have a difficult job here. Wait, why did it say riot drill if he's on the Gibraltar?
Yeah, I don't know. That had to be some sort of spectator glitch.
Yeah. Unfortunate, but yeah.
You know, the spectator client's not perfect here.
Yeah. that's the understatement. It looks like Optimal Ambition were able to make their way over to the circle building here, and Void now taking a position underneath it. So Optimal Ambition making that move early on will be favored. This is going to end up basically into an arena match in about 3 minutes.
That's definitely true. Now, this donut building, we know, can coexist with a handful of different teams, right? You have the team that locks down the bottom. Sometimes 2 teams will lock down the bottom. You have teams that locate themselves in the actual donut themselves, on the roof, on the opposite side of the fence. So this area, just in general, can house about 4 different teams if they end up playing and respecting each other's area and space, which sometimes doesn't really necessarily happen, especially if you have a crazy wraith that's trying to kidnap people. But right now, it's slowing down for OA and it's slowing down for Void. Tough thing for OA is that they're going to have to deal with the #1 team if they want to make it in. Not only that, they're going to have to eliminate Redeem and Oxy, who's been camping it out and trying to survive as that rat. And now Riku, oh no!
It's been almost all gas station gaming, by the way. We said what they needed to do. They needed to pick up every kill here, and that's what they've done so far in the first half of the game, essentially. We'll see if they can get Q, who is going for that Wraith Q and port, and he is out. That's going to be Marstreams actually stealing that one away from Most Hated up top. And so that's going to make things even more difficult. Try and steal away the second place position here. Defensive bombardment has gone down. The Arcstar time to go in with that bubble falling. He's actually going to hold on to it for right now and see maybe if the other nade does anything, but doesn't seem like it. Now take a look at this next ring pull. It's actually pulling away from the donut building. Oxy has secured a top 6 for his squad. This is going to be crucial for them. Optimal Ambition haven't picked up much in the way of kills, I don't think, throughout this game.
I love this play. Great rat spot there from Oxy. He's going to even elect to go and hit that syringe. Amazing, amazing rat plays right there. I mean, it's almost safer having 1 player than 3 at this point, right? Because, I mean, you always want to have your full squad, but if you're just trying to rat it out, you know, it's like hide and seek. You don't want people blowing up your spot. So Oxy, props, man. Great hide and seek player as a kid, I'm sure.
Yeah, take a look. Optimal Ambition. Boxity only has 28 damage currently. So I don't believe that they were able to pick up any kills, and they're not in a position to do so now. Void is just underneath them. Actually keeping this door locked. The zone's going to start closing in. They are fairly on the slow side of the ring, but they're still pressured. I don't know if maybe they have the access to that second floor to get out, or if maybe another team's on top of them, but they need to find another way, and a way that avoids, well, Void. As FaZe 1 Esports are going to go for the full send on top. They're just going in as the black hole comes out from either side. But Papa Midget is going to try and push forward. We do have the Gibraltar isolated out. Gravity lift is going to be used to get him out of dodge here. Fortunately, FaZe 1 Esports were not able to completely capitalize on this. Looks like I didn't even know that was a position up there. Marsh Dreams ends up getting the knock onto Twitchy, and FaZe 1 Esports are kind of regretting the decision to push up top. Luckily for them, though, Twitchy was able to make his way down, and so they do hit that res.
What a wild turn of events right there. I mean, you have outplay on top of outplay, and then all of a sudden Twitchy somehow, some way, is able to survive and get on over towards the bottom. But now the fight is breaking out between OA and Void. You can see Farmer Lucas is down. That's 2 players down on that team from Void. That's the Thirst coming in. Now OA is going to be taken down. That's 2 players from OA down. And you know who's loving that one? Optimal Ambition is taken out. Redeem is going to secure their spot. Oxy, congratulations for the Tomcat Rat job of the century over here. Big chillin'. He's still letting things go down, but now he is taken out. Unfortunate situation, and you wonder what is going to happen with OA. I mean, could they have potentially played a little bit more aggressive? Yes. Was that the right play to sit there and get into the zone? I thought so, but at the same time, you feel like maybe if you played a little bit more aggressive, things could have opened up for you. But congrats. I mean, you know that Z Davis is loving what he sees right there.
Yeah. Right now, though, we are down to our final 3 squads. Gas Station Gaming, they have a lot of kills. I don't know exactly how many. We said they needed something like 40 points, quite possibly, to try and catch up. They have gotten a lot of kills. There's 6 kills still on the board for them to try and pick up, plus 12 as well. 5 for Jet, 5 assists as well, as we've got 8 for Icy River, so that's 13. How many kills does Rambo have? He's got 7. I don't know if that's going to be enough.
This is already a huge game. I mean, if they get all the kills here, I think that's a 38-point game, if I'm not mistaken. May not be enough, but still a damn good game overall, as Rambo's going to be eating some of this lava. I would love to see Gas Station finish this one off so the admins have a tough job. No offense, admins. I want to see this be as close as possible.
And they have one of the best spots right now. 2 teams basically stacked on top of each other. They can just try and wait things out, but Rambo needs to survive so they don't use their bubble. So Icy is able to hold on to that for right now. The defensive bombardment actually went down onto the spot that Rambo was at. Here comes the drop down from Most Hated. The bubble has been used as well from either side. And now Gas Station Gaming waiting things out. It's going to be that first knock. Fortunately, though, that was Most Hated picking that one up. Gas Station Gaming needs all of the rest of the kills here. They cannot let anything get away. Twitchy has gone thirsted. Gas Station Gaming ends up cleaning up the rest, and they will take the win. They have massive amount of kill points behind it. The big question is, did they get enough? Was there an opportunity for them to steal away the 3rd place position from Team Redeem?
I don't know if that's going to be enough, Jamerson. Thank goodness we are not having to put together the math on that one. Either way, phenomenal performance. Way to close out the qualifier there from Gas Station. And again, I just want to repeat myself one more time. In terms of the teams that didn't make it, I want to see them continue going on in Series Z. We saw so many great teams. We saw so many great players. It was an actual honor to cast their games.
Yeah, absolutely correct. And I couldn't have put it better myself. And so that does mean, though, while we figure out the results, we are going to go ahead and take a short break. When we get back, we will be able to reveal to you the 3 teams that have secured a spot in Series Z. You're not going to want to miss that. So don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back right after this. It was a fairly slow start to the day for Gas Station Gaming, but they ended up picking it up here in game number 5, getting a massive win. They had about 20 kills before the finish, and we're not quite sure how many points they got, so let's go ahead and check in to see where they ended up in the overall leaderboard today. They had 49 points. Optimal Ambition just below them at 43. Void, though, ends up with another victory throughout the qualifiers, 65 points to them. We knew in game number 2 that they had already secured their spot.
What a performance there in that final game there. All of the things that you would like to see in a competitive Apex Legends match, Gas Station Gaming was put together. In terms of Void, yes, #1 team. They were the first team to secure their spot mathematically going forward. Love to see that from them. A lot of different facets to their game. Let's take a look at the mobile and high performance moment from that final game. And again, great rat job coming in from Redeem's Oxy to secure that top 4 finish. And hopefully for them, get their spot in the final spot into Series E.
And here's Gas Station Gaming. They were completely pedal to the metal this entire game number 5, where they were taking every single fight. When the third parties came their way, they were ready for it, and they instantly turned onto it. This was a third-party attempt that they were able to stabilize off of and turn around and pick up another 3 KP. So it was great performances. We're seeing flashes of brilliance out of a lot of our squads that were trying to secure a spot in Series E. So even if they don't make it, they had a great showing, and you have to imagine are turning a lot of heads.
No doubt about it. And you could just see the presence of mind in this bubble fight. So many different, things that went well, and so many great plays to maneuver around. Like, for example, having that caustic just completely off guard with standing still, and then the player comes in and swoops behind for the cleanup, the baiting and switching, all that type of stuff. And again, you have to reiterate, if they play this type of aggressive, if they have this mindset every single game, what is the limit for Gas Station Gaming? It seems like sky's the limit for them.
Yeah, let's take a look at the cumulative leaderboard after 4 days of qualifiers. The top 3 teams are going to be Team Void, Most Hated, and Redeemed. But it was still such a great effort coming out from Optimal Ambition and Gas Station Gaming, by the way, which we had almost thought mathematically out, but they were so close, so close. So congratulations to our top 3 teams: Void, Most Hated, of course. Yeah, it was just such a great day of play. I mean, I didn't expect it to come down so close to these top 5 teams.
And again, if you didn't make it in, hearts go out to you, but don't give up. There's still another season of Series Z that's going to continue. There's also the open nights that you have an opportunity to join in, so continue practicing, keep putting your nose to the grindstone. Again, awesome plays from so many different awesome players, great teams out there, and a lot of potential for a lot of these squads as well. So just keep up the hard work. It definitely doesn't go unnoticed, but again, congratulations to the 3 teams that made it in.
And if you want to know exactly which partnered squad that, which partner that they will end up with, we do have our draft day that'll be taking place next week. So keep an eye on the Esports Arena socials. That's just that Esports Arena on Twitter, and you'll know when the draft day stream goes live to see exactly where they end up. That is going to do it for us. I just want to take a moment though, as I just got some news in game number 4. Unfortunately, the esports world, we're all family, and the esports world just took a heavy loss as Dan McHugh, manager of esports for Overwatch at Blizzard, has just passed away. So we just want to take this moment to say we're going to miss you, Dan. Our thoughts are with your family. Thank you so much for everything that you have contributed and your passion across the last 3-4 years and what you've been able to build with Overwatch and the support that you've given to Tier 2. Thank you so much for everything you did. We're going to miss you, buddy. And that's going to do it for us. So have a great night, guys.